Welcome in. It's Friday. It's actually Friday of Memorial Day weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Many of you, not us, but many of you will have the next 3 days off. If you're on Monday wondering what the heck you're going to do with your time, we will be here. Wallow and Stats always going the extra mile for you. Sacrifices like I do on these Saturday and Sunday golf outings. I'm really doing that. Research and development, you know that, and on Saturday, I will try to do that again tomorrow, but we will be here on Monday, just so you all are aware of that. I will say that I was impressed that Drew was able to come to work today. Drew had big plans for the Predators' victory and what he was going to do. He was coming in here with a banner of the Preds and talking about Game 7 and all this stuff, and it just didn't happen for the young man. Preds fell last night. It is Carolina into the next round. So I think we're even now on the picks when it comes to the next round stuff, correct? You and me? Is Brett there?
We had to disconnect from Brett for a second to test out another line. He'll be rejoining us here in a second. But
okay.
I think that everything is squared away since Brett was able to get the Islanders pick, and now you, unfortunately, got the Carolina pick, right? But like you said, I had everything planned out. I was going to pull down my Predators flag from my wall. I was going to bring in my hat, going to have on a Preds shirt underneath this. I was going to unveil it. I was ready for Game 7, sitting there up 3-1.
Yeah.
Just got to hold on. And the problem was they just stopped playing offense. They just kept playing defensive hockey, and they would not push the puck.
Did that the last two games. Really?
Talk about the hockey.
They had the last two games. Brett, I felt bad.
Bring in hockey expert me.
I actually felt bad for Drew because, as he just said, he had all these elaborate plans, and they just burned and they crashed and burned. It's a sad,
they did, Dave. Poor
sad
Drew.
thing. I know.
And the O's have lost 10 in a row.
No.
I'm used to
10
that
in a row.
pain. That's fine.
I think
That's
O's,
not Greg and Eli's game at noon. It's a real thing in Drew's life, 10 in a row.
I know, and I think the O's are playing the White Sox this week, and you know how good those
make
White
that
Sox
13
can
in a
be.
row.
Ooh,
You know the Diamondbacks have got a longer losing streak, but all we do is crush Drew's O's.
I know. And
I thought we loved Drew.
And guess who the Cardinals are playing? They're playing the Diamondbacks. Won a game last night in 10. So they have, at this moment, sole possession once again of first place. But the Cubs.
I'm sorry, Dave. You broke up. Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry. I had a little technical malfunction. What was that about?
In trying to always be fair and factual.
and credible. And that's your hallmark. And it is. It is.
At the moment, the Cardinals have sole possession of first place. However,
it sounds so good.
The Cubs do have a 1-0 lead in Wrigley, 2 outs, top of the 6th against Cincinnati. If they were to win, we would again have a deadlock. The Cubs would be in first place with the St. Louis Cardinals. Lots going on. Of course.
Seriously on the Predator front, I'm going to tie this to the Grizzlies, and I'm going to tie this to the Titans, and I'm going to tie it to the first championship for a team from the state of Tennessee. I'm going to do all that in the next 45 seconds. You ready?
Yeah.
Watch this.
Okay.
I say the Preds, I'm being serious now, I say the Preds have had a window close. It's been open for them the last few years.
I think so.
If they were going to win a Stanley Cup, this year's closes it. The Titans, they have a window that is open. It's not wide open, but open. The Grizzlies, if they win this series against Utah, it's as open as the Titans' window is open for one of those two teams in the next few years to be the first champion of a major professional sport from the state of Tennessee.
I think you're spot on.
And I had room to spare.
With the Preds. The Preds.
I'll even agree to that. It's closing.
To me, there's a symbolism to the
closed.
retirement.
Not closing, closed, shut.
It's closed.
Or
You're
the departure of Pekka Rinne. You know, when he came up.
Dave,
and
that is good. I didn't think of that, but that was a big part of it.
When they beat the Blackhawks, who had the best record in the NHL and had won 3 of 5 Stanley Cups. They closed the door. They ended that dynasty of Chicago, and they had that window. Unfortunately for them, they never really were able to totally cash in. But now they've gotten old. Their coach has changed. They're now letting their main goalie.
Little stale around town about it, around Nashville about it.
I mean, Saros is a good goalie.
He
I mean,
is.
I don't think he'll ever be Pekka in his prime, but I mean, just off of last night,
He
gave up 4 goals, but I mean, the dude was standing on his head most of the game.
Oh, yeah. No, I think when all is said and done, Carolina's a better hockey team than the Nashville.
Oh, I love it when Barry Melrose says that. They're just a better hockey team.
They're
better hockey club.
They're better. They're better.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies, I'm
kind of, if y'all notice, I'm kind of going a mistaken, not meaning to Barry Melrose because I can't get anything to grow on top. Dave says it's a Ben Franklin, but I've kind of got the bush going in the back. Kind of like Barry Melrose. I can't get anything here. It's dead here. Right? This window is closed here. If you're looking at the screen, that window's closed right here. Do you agree, Dave? That window's closed for me right here in this area?
Since we've changed computers, I can see only Drew. I cannot see you.
All right, Drew, would you agree that this window has closed for me and hair?
Unfortunately, I would agree. Unless you went the medical route.
Are you talking about
done.
Are you talking about
got plugs?
Are you talking about the
I'm not
front?
that vain. Yeah, the front, Dave.
I hate to say this to you. That's been dead for 2 years. I mean, this
Ken
is
Garland,
not new.
Ken Garland couldn't save that?
No, there's no renovation that's possible for you with that. It's been gone for a while, but you have so many other attributes, my friend. I mean, pretty eyes and
lovely personality.
And
good cook. Sound like you fixed me up for a blind date with somebody.
You've absolutely got a great wit about you. You're. I'm not going to feel bad for you because
thank you.
If you look, my wife points this out all the time, and I told her she was out of her mind. I got a haircut, finally. And I think it looks really good. And I've got some thick hair in the front, but if you go back to the back here, the crown,
Dave, almost if we could mix the two heads together, we'd have something to work
we'd have
with.
a head of hair. Yeah.
Could Ken Garland do that? Could he get the the front renovated for me and the crown for you?
No.
Okay. And your wife says you're.
Here's the difference. Well, she took a picture to show me. Showed me the back
you
of
didn't
my head.
need graphic. You didn't need graphics.
And she goes, because my Uncle Joe was like bald pretty much his whole adult life. I think he started losing his hair at 28 or something like that. And she goes, well, now you're looking like Uncle Joe. So, I've learned to live with that because I'll tell you, mine, Brett, is age appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
I'm almost 60.
You like.
I get mail every day from AARP. Is that not worth anything?
AARP is actually. There are some pretty good deals. You ought to start reading that mail.
I clip coupons. I mean, bonds and grocery, everything.
My goodness. Market did well today, so you're okay for today.
Approaching 36K. Have you looked at the NASDAQ lately? Did you ever in your life think we'd be talking about a 14K NASDAQ?
I never envisioned any kind of the numbers that we see, and it's just been so crazy the last couple of years. I mean, just crazy. But for those of us that have been fortunate enough to be in the marketplace, it's been a good run. I mean,
that we best Drew to get in now.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I'd have to know what you're all talking about in order to get in.
Someone will advise you.
Yes, get a financial advisor and put away X amount of money per week.
A little down now means a lot later. It works.
Does the advisor cost money?
He takes a percentage of your total holdings. It's not that much. It's worth it.
I'll look into it.
It's the miracle. I've always loved it. The first person I ever heard use this term was Brett Norsworthy. Mm-hmm. And he said this, 20 years ago to me. He goes, yeah, it's the miracle of compounding interest. And back when you were saying that, my goodness, the compounding interest was really much bigger then than it is now.
I can't explain it, but it really works.
It does. It truly does. The Grizzlies window, Brett, back to where we're going with this. Yeah.
Their window. Segue into a Ken Garland spot with this? I mean, this is almost perfect for all the window talk and the renovation. with innovation.
Unfortunately,
I don't know if Ken runs today.
You are giving Ken a freebie on a day he's not running.
I love you, Ken.
Yeah, that's good work. That's very good work. So this window, the Grizzlies now have entered, it's wide open, and guess what? They can lose this series. That window is there. And that window is there not just because the Grizzlies were able to win Game 1, not just because they were able to beat the Spurs in the play-in, and then in a rematch with a team they had lost on their home court with a Hall of Famer, with the greatest shooter of all time, they beat that team. No, not just because of that, but because in their loss to a top seed, Utah, Ja Morant scored 47 points. That is the window opening because now there is no disputing that this guy is on the way. I have heard some say this is like when Michael Jordan scored 63 against the Boston Celtics. They lost that series, but it was welcome to stardom for Michael Jordan. And
Dave, you know what day that was? That was the day that you had been to the Arkansas Derby the day before in 1986, April of 1986. I had been as well and got home and watched that game, and I heard our very own Eli Savoy say that the other day, and he made it clear, everybody listened. He's not saying he's the next Michael Jordan. Eli was clear about that.
Right.
But that's a flag planting game, and that's what that was the other night for Ja.
It was
a good take by you.
It was the national door opening, I've arrived moment. When you do that against a Utah team that plays good defense and you score 47 and it looks like they can't stop you, they haven't figured out how to get in front of you. The only thing they got is Gobert, who can protect the rim, but those floaters he can't get to because if he does, it's goaltending. He is their selling point in this market. He is the selling point in the league when it comes to this team, and they've just got to find a couple of other pieces, and I think they can be every bit as prolific as the core four.
And I heard Peter and Anthony talking this morning, not this year, but June of 2022, the cap space for the Grizzlies. It's about $85 million now, and that's going to go up with the FanDuel and the new advertising stuff. So let's say, a year from now, you have $100 million out there in cap space. But if the Grizzlies, if they win this series, win these two, Saturday, Monday in Memphis, win Game 6, that's the easiest math to get to if they're going to win this series. They do that when the schedule comes out for next year, for the first time ever, Christmas Day, the Memphis Grizzlies will be hosting someone.
Well, and a lot of that is because the league is star-driven, and Ja Morant has now become a star. Doing what he did, and those ratings were good. We talked about those TNT ratings the other day. Those TNT ratings were spectacular. They outdid the Knicks and Atlanta in a worse time slot. So you're starting to see Ja Morant's star power. And now they still have to – they're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to figure out if they're going to pay Jaren. I don't know what they're going to do about Justice Winslow. I'm guessing they're going to say, Justice, we will keep you, but we're not going to sign you to that $13 million option. If you love us, like you said you did, we'll give you another chance. But it is,
he could miss us too if that's the case.
It is going to be at a much reduced pay to keep that salary there, because sooner or later you're going to have to give whatever that second contract max is to Ja Morant.
You are, and we've had fun with the NBA playoffs. We will continue having fun. They're here, and you'll be in Hoops Heaven betting all the action at FanDuel Sportsbook. There's so many exciting matchups at FanDuel, and FanDuel is taking that excitement to the ultimate level because new and existing users can bet risk-free throughout the playoffs. New users can get up to $1,000 back if your first bet doesn't win. Plus, once you have an account, you can bet one same-game parlay risk-free every week. That means you can combine multiple bets for an even bigger win. And if you don't win, you'll get up to $10 back. Basketball fans, now is the perfect time to get into the action at FanDuel. Give it a shot. Just sign up with promo code CASH to bet the NBA playoffs risk-free exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Risk-free bet. For first online real money wager only and refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Same game parlay. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and on the web. Gambling problem? Hit up the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour every day brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. They're excited about Grizzlies fever and getting back downtown tomorrow, Sunday and Monday. They're at 2600 Ridgeway, online at lexusofmemphis.com. And a heartfelt thank you for all the families that Memorial Weekend really means a lot to, from all the people at Lexus of Memphis. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity Memorial Weekend sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. They're at 2600 Ridgeway, 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is, as we approach the Memorial Day weekend, the Grizzlies are still playing basketball, and the Grizzlies are going to try to keep home court advantage as an 8 seed over the 1 seed Utah. Another late game tomorrow, 8:30. Wouldn't be shocked if it starts out even later, because there are games that will run into games. Tomorrow is significant. How will Mike Conley be received at home? Not in a regular season game that means nothing, but in a game that means everything. They're going to boo somebody. Will it be Donovan Mitchell? Will it be Rudy Gobert?
Yes, yes.
It would not be Mike Conley. But after he is cheered in the beginning, how will he be received from there? And I've been reading that they have, although they've not added capacity to the 55%, they are selling some extra tickets in the Pinnacle level. I don't know if that's the Grizzlies that are doing that, if it's the secondary market, because I've seen on Twitter that there are some prices that they've doubled it, which makes it a very expensive deal.
I'm going to say about 12,000 will be in the building.
Drew, can you explain this?
There's been different reports. Some people are blaming scalpers for buying them all up and doubling the price. Some people are blaming the Grizzlies themselves for setting the tickets too high, because even some non-resellable tickets in the upper level are still around $100 a piece. I checked earlier today, resale or straight ticket value, the cheapest pair that I could find was about $78 a piece.
But wait, let's just clarify here, because I don't really understand totally the secondary markets. The Grizzlies put the seats at face value. You got to pay a service fee to Ticketmaster or whatever it may be that they use to sell their tickets. But let's just say the ticket is $50 to make this easy, $50. If that ticket goes up, it's because somebody else has purchased the ticket and now is selling it at an inflated rate
to make a profit.
To make a profit. Thus the secondary market. The Grizzlies themselves don't do that, right?
They can't control that.
They have to sell that ticket that they put on. They have to put that on at a face value.
There is a way around it. I know that some musicians, especially like Garth Brooks, has some way of keeping people from reselling his tickets, to keep people from scalping them. So if the Grizzlies wanted to keep the prices down, they could do that to where you can't resell your ticket, but that just seems like more of a headache than anything.
You would think they would want to do that. For instance, if they're trying to sell it out, once it's sold out, then it doesn't really matter to them. But why would they allow somebody to buy their ticket and sell it at more until they've sold all their tickets? You would think they would want to sell all their tickets and not compete with somebody else. That seems to me to be smart business, but I might be missing something here because I don't quite understand the whole thing. Brett, your top story?
my top story tomorrow night, late 8:30. If, as Dave said, if it's actually 8:30, I wouldn't set the nuclear clocks by that. The Grizzlies host the first playoff game at FedEx Forum since April 27th, 2017, a loss to San Antonio. That was the goofy Take That for Data series. I never got that, with this town always playing for a new T-shirt. Here's a T-shirt for the T-shirt capital of the world, Memphis, Tennessee. Simply 2 letters, J-N-A, Ja.
He's worth waiting up late at night for. He is worth the price of admission. He's something else.
We love a T-shirt in Memphis, don't we?
We love it all. And I feel bad for his parents. I feel bad for the parents of Dylan Brooks, who were abused by the fans in Utah. We heard about what happened to Trae Young. We heard about what happened with Russell Westbrook. We didn't hear until a little bit later. And, this is so troubling because we are just back that fans are just so mean-spirited. Maybe you're just wild because they've been kept in protocol for so long. But you do not have the right to abuse people. You can boo, but my goodness, take it.
People know the line.
Take it. That line has to really be, I think, printed and stated
I do too.
And exclaimed by the NBA so we don't have any more of this kind of stuff.
Not top story of the day.
I love this story. Shohei Ohtani last night was trying to get to the ballpark.
I was looking forward to it. Said it closing, keeping a close eye on Shohei last night.
You were.
He didn't make it.
He didn't make it to the ballpark because of a traffic jam on a bridge. How about that?
What was he coming from West Memphis?
No, it was not West Memphis, but it could have been. And so I didn't realize this. He likes, with his routine on days that he's pitching, to get to the ballpark by 4 for a 7 o'clock game. And he wasn't going to get there until 5. And so Joe Madden, through his interpreter, said, "Don't worry, Shohei, we'll just let you be a DH." And he was not a very good DH last night. He was 0 for 3 with a walk. And the Angels lost, but the starting pitcher actually pitched 5 good innings. That's probably what you would have gotten out of Shohei. And now, I don't know, is he going to go tonight? But he missed that start because of a traffic jam, a legit traffic jam on a bridge. And we can all understand that, so I guess we give him absolutely the benefit of the doubt and let him start tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if how that would affect their
rotation.
Yeah, Shohei's going tonight. He's going against Mineo
for
Oakland. That's a good matchup.
Yeah.
My top story?
It was the Bay Bridge. I thought it was in Oakland. I wasn't sure, but it was the Bay Bridge that got him.
That would get you too. That's a little intimidating crossing. My not top story: Indy 500 sold out. 135,000 fans expected. That was their capacity. Almost all baseball stadiums to be at 100% at some point in June, most of them. NBA raising capacities by the game. And ironic that this weekend the golf event in Fort Worth falls on when we're really making the big step up. The PGA Tour deserves a lot of credit. Last year, to host that event, to have it, to get it done, we needed it for life. And in the PGA Tour, they bowed up last year, had that event at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, and ironic that this weekend they're having their event when most of the world of sports is really coming out of a deep slumber.
Golf was a pretty good leader, really. Think about it. The first sporting event I could remember was that battle with Tiger and Phil and Peyton and Brady.
Outside, yeah. Makes sense.
I remember it was raining. I mean, to the extent that they went to finally get something on TV with sports, that was fantastic. And then they got
you could create your own little bubble with just who matters from the tour and officialdom.
Yeah, no, it was terrific stuff.
Way to go, golf.
Golf, the greatest. That is for sure. We're busy today. We got Bruce Marshall coming your way in just a minute. Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian was in Salt Lake City. We'll talk with him about that crowd. Maybe maybe he's got some thoughts, or he saw some of the stuff that the Morant and Dylan parents had to put up with. Then Pat Smith from Jocks on SEC Baseball. We'll see what's going on there. There was an announced retirement of the LSU baseball coach. We'll get into that maybe with him a little bit. Andy Schiffman at 5 o'clock talking Grizz and Jazz and all the NBA. There were a lot of good games last night. We'll talk Major League Baseball with Tim Doolin. That'll come your way
and
at
coaching carousel
5:30.
And SEC coaching carousel. Tim's got a lot of good info on the Maneri resignation and on the rumors around the Tennessee coach, the rumors about Mike Bianco possibly going to LSU, his alma mater, and the rumors of the opening at A&M because, no surprise, Ross Bjork's throwing around Texas Aggie money.
Wow. It's interesting that you called the Maneri departure a resignation. The story I read said it was a retirement at the age of 63. So we'll see.
A gentle push.
We'll see what Timmy has to say about all of that. We're busy today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Welcome in the holiday weekend with us as we are now officially underway on this Friday edition of Sports Time.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
For years, I have talked to you about James Davis, the finest men's store in all of Memphis, the service, the selection, everything that goes with quality. And I've told you recently about the Stant Perfect Fit shirts. Well, now there's the Stant Perfect Fit pants. Absolutely amazing. Only 2 measurements fed into a computer, and all of a sudden, you've got the perfect fit pants. And I'm talking everywhere. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to fit your body absolutely perfectly. And there's 80 different fabrics to choose from. You will find the right look, the right fit, almost instantaneously. They start at $162, but you will never find a better pair of pants than these at James Davis Men's Store. And the shirts are still there, and guess what? It's the only place in Memphis that you can find Stant. That's the James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
The NBA playoffs are here, and you'll be in hoops heaven betting all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There are so many exciting matchups, and FanDuel is taking that excitement to another level because new and existing users can bet risk-free throughout the playoffs. New users can get up to $1,000 back if your first bet doesn't win. Plus, once you have an account, you can bet one same-game parlay risk-free every week. That means you can combine multiple bets for an even bigger win. And if you don't win, you'll get up to $10 back. Basketball fans, now is the perfect time to give FanDuel a shot. Just sign up with promo code BIGHEAD to bet the NBA playoffs risk-free exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in the state of Tennessee. Risk-free bet for first online real money wager only, and refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Same game parlay refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and web. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9780.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
With double the seasoned beef and a large drink all for $5, Taco Bell's Grande Nachos truly deserves a Grande intro, perhaps with a Grande beat box. Said it's crunchy, cheesy, beef. Actually, that sounded better in my head. Go get the $5 Grande Nachos before they make a exit. Nope. Only at Taco Bell. At limited participating locations for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezers. Double the seasoned beef as compared to the Nachos Bell Grande.
Hi, folks, Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about buying a newer used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $8,000. Interest low as 0%. Bad credit, it's okay. At Sunrise, we've got financing for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. Where saving your money's just a way of doing business. Covington, Pike, Wolfchase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolfchase.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome in. Happy holiday to everybody. Bringing in with us right now, we got Bruce Marshall from Vegas, the Golden Man, coming your way in just a minute. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. You need to get to Family Leisure. They probably have something really special going on for Memorial Day. I do know those pools are going fast, and I want to warn you, they ran out last year. Don't let that happen to you this year. If you were trying to get an above-ground pool last year, they just simply disappeared. Same thing with spas. They're in stock, ready for delivery right now. You can swing in the spring with a brand-new play gym. Kids love that. I mean, they'll want to stay at home. They'll want all the kids from the neighborhood to come on over and have fun with that. They have professional installation available. I always recommend you do that. So it is in there and safe, and you'll be at ease with all of that. And if you want to spend time watching them on that play gym, really using your backyard, get some of the new state-of-the-art patio furniture. There are some select sets that are 20% off. All you got to do is get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Go see all the good folks at Family Leisure, where family and fun do come together. To Vegas we go. Bruce Marshall, you're not only a line setter, a prognosticator, but really I love you as a historian. And I think we saw some history the other night in a loss. Ja Morant had 47. We think it was maybe a coming out party. In your historical perspective, where do you see Ja Morant and this Grizzlies team heading? Good afternoon. We got him?
We should have. Hey, Bruce.
Bruce?
There you go, Drew. We'll catch up with him.
We apparently have lost him for the moment, but he will be back.
Well, Ole Miss just got out of a big jam. I know if people want to listen to the last inning, they can at 96.1. We invite you to stay with us, though. We'll keep you updated. They had bases loaded jam. Vandy got one, but Ole Miss got out of the inning, lead 4-1. Got to Jack Leiter early. They lead 4-1 going into the top of the ninth, so they have three big outs to go in the bottom of the ninth to set up play tomorrow. We got Bruce Marshall now, and I don't think it was me, but Bruce, you there?
I'm here. I heard the question. I'm actually down in Florida, so maybe Governor DeSantis got in the way. It's like the call, but no.
He gets all the rest of the blame. Let's do that too, Bruce.
Yeah, well, Morant, that was something. But I will tell you where this in the evolution of the Grizz, what has to happen. We've seen that was quite an explosion the other night by Morant, but he's had several really good games over the last couple of months. He rarely follows it up with another good game, though. I mean, we've got games. He's had a lot of games recently where he's 12 points, 14 points. He has scored well in this series thus far. He's won at about 36 per game in the series because he had 26 in the first game. But just go back on the last month. I mean, the game he had 37 in a game against Minnesota earlier this month. The previous game he had 8. He had two 12-point games after that. Pretty good game against Dallas a couple weeks ago, 24, comes back with 12 against Sacramento. Had 22 against Orlando. The previous game, though, right at the start of the month, he only had 8 against the Magic. He had 36 last month against Denver. The game before that, just 13 against Milwaukee. So the pattern for him is he really hasn't put two of these big games together. Now would be a nice time to start that because Memphis is in this series for sure. And if he can get a little more consistency with these big efforts, perhaps they've got a chance. It's a little ominous, though, that Donovan Mitchell is back for Utah, and the Jazz were scoring pretty freely the other night. So it's going to be a collective effort by the Grizz, like it is for every team to win. But yeah, a little more consistency from Morant, that gets him up to the real elite level. And he's showing like he has the potential to get there, but we just need to see it on a more consistent basis.
I think that's an interesting take. I think in this series he's been pretty consistent. You mentioned he scored, 26 or 27 in that first game. There was a story written, I'm going to say 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. It was before he made the proclamation of being, one of the top 5 guys, where the Grizzlies as a team played better with him scoring less and having more assists. When he had double-digit assists, that seemed to be a better indicator of his value to the team. I think, though, this has changed all of that. I think he's going to be looking more now for points. Don't forget, in this game with 47, you had your 3 other major cogs on this team sitting on the bench a lot in foul trouble. That was Valanciunas, Jaren Jackson Jr., and the guy that's emerged really until that 47 points as the darling of these playoffs and play-ins, and that's Dillon Brooks.
You're right, and I think that's what those guys, to get more. Brooks, he had 31 in Game 1. But Morant, if you look at it, I mean, he's taken 47 shots the last 2 games. That's the most he's taken in back-to-back games in 2021. Now, he took 48 in back-to-back games right at the start of the season against San Antonio and Atlanta. And he scored 44 in that opener against San Antonio, then 28 the next game. But then the Morant pattern started. Then he had some games well beneath that. So it's about consistency for him, and I sort of buy that about the assists are every bit as important. I don't know that he has to shoot the ball 20-25 times per game for Memphis to be at its best, but that's what he's been doing the first 2 of this series. We'll see how it goes from here.
Bruce, we talk about the bigger markets being good for business for Adam Silver and the NBA with vis-a-vis ratings. Good for Vegas. It's got to be good for Vegas. Lakers up 2-1. The Lakers win out. I know they got to be a very popular team with the public, but does Vegas do better with the Lakers in it or out of it?
They do better when the Lakers lose, really, right. Because more people are betting on the Lakers there. So for them, I think they're to the point now where Vegas, there's going to be traffic no matter what. But the Lakers are one of those, maybe the most public team in the NBA, and so they'll do better in Vegas when the Lakers lose. And we'll see how that series plays out. Sort of like they all do much better, the sports books in Vegas, when the Golden Knights lose, which they've lost the last 2 games, and they're playing Game 7 tonight. They won't admit that they want the Golden Knights to lose at the sports books, but I know for business it's actually good if they do, because they're carrying a lot more liability on those public teams. So, but we'll see. But you're right. Overall, in the general picture, NBA wants these markets. They're probably thrilled New York is back in it again now.
You say liability. You say liability, Bruce. When do the poobahs at the casinos? When do they get scared? What's too heavy for them? When do they get so lopsided that they're really sweating, if they ever sweat?
Well, it depends. I'm not sure what an actual dollar amount would be, but I mean, they try to mitigate that as much as they can, but you can't completely split the action both ways. You can't always lay off with enough to balance the books. There's going to be some exposure there, but some of the biggest exposures that the books have and getting hit actually come in football season, like on parlay cards, which they can do nothing about, and then they can't balance a parlay card really. If a bunch of underdog teams, or actually it'd be a bunch of favorite teams, if they want a 10-team parlay on a football weekend, but it depends upon the book and it depends upon the threshold each book does. But they do reach that some points, and there are many games they're cheering secretly for one side or the other just because it helps their bottom line. though I usually have very little sympathy for them, they usually make out pretty well no matter what they say.
More people are betting on the 7th seed than the 2 seed?
Because it's the Lakers, yeah. The Lakers are effectively the favorite in this series, and they kind of were from the start. So, and that's an odd case just because it's the Lakers and because of the injuries and that. I mean, they're a pretty loaded 7th seed for what you normally get to see in the NBA. And Chris Paul not being 100%, I think, really changes the whole trajectory of that series. When he's not in there, and they've got Cameron Payne in there in the fourth quarter, and Paul's been playing, but he's obviously not 100%, and he's only playing 20, 25 minutes per game when he's usually 30 plus. So Phoenix has got trouble unless Paul gets back 100%. I'm not sure that's going to happen in time for the Suns' cause.
Bruce, you called it. I'm sorry, Dave.
I was just going to say, it's funny you mentioned campaign. He is a kid from Memphis and Lausanne High School who's played actually pretty well, but he's not Chris Paul, and he's never going to be Chris Paul.
Yeah, and he can come in as a spot, and he's hit some shots in this series that have been big. But no, I mean, in crunch time, you want you'd rather have Chris Paul in there. So that's obviously a backup plan for them. No, Payne is he's turned into a useful player for Phoenix, but like you said, I mean, Chris Paul's pretty unique.
Bruce, you said last Friday there would be a boatload of college football news this week, and it has been, with season over and unders, a few games posted, a lot of TV news. First of all, forgive me of my ignorance, but like if you bet the Tigers over 8.5 on the season, you just win what you bet, right? If you bet $5, you win $5. There's no odds with that, is it?
I know there'll be some odds on it. It's usually it's closer. Yeah, I mean, in Memphis, I mean, it's minus 115 or something like that. So everything will be priced. You just won't have huge fluctuations in season over under wins, but they'll price each one of those numbers for sure. Yep.
Did you set in on setting those?
Yeah.
I think you were going to ask the same thing.
I was.
This year, I haven't yet. I have in the past at the Golden Nugget several times with Tony Miller and Aaron Kessler. Back when the Nugget was like the first place in Las Vegas that would do it, so we'd usually get together in May and June. But now that it's been corporatized so much, I mean, this stuff is being done usually away from Vegas now. They're the bigger books now are all hooked in, and there's national connections there now too. So they're usually doing that now outside of Las Vegas.
Did you see any over/under that you went, whoa, I wish I'd have been there to correct this?
Like Arkansas State, 3.5?
Yeah, that was low. I haven't been able to look at the whole list too much yet. So nothing's really jumped out. I usually won't get in. I've been down in Florida, like I said, all week, so I'll be, into June we'll be looking
You've
at those.
You've been playing with grandbabies. Come on, Bruce, we need gaming advice.
I know. I've been full with the NBA and NHL and all that this week, but we'll take more of a look at the college football numbers as we get to June.
Have you, besides the Lakers, have you been looking at some of these other series like Milwaukee really quick now that DiVincenzo is out? I don't know if that matters. And this Miami thing is wrapped up. They're up 3-0. They're not going to lose this one. But them and Brooklyn could be a pretty interesting series down the road.
Yeah, and you wonder about the Brooklyn-Boston game tonight. Is there an analogy to be drawn from Milwaukee taking care of Miami the way it's done? The first two games in Milwaukee, Miami went kind of like Brooklyn-Boston. Game one, very competitive, and then game two was kind of a blowout for the home favorite, and then Milwaukee really let the Heat have it last night. So here goes Brooklyn on the road tonight. I'm not still sure about Kemba Walker's status for tonight. Apparently Jason Tatum is going to play for Boston, but it's curtains for them if they can't win tonight. So Brooklyn, that's sort of interesting there. Also, the Clippers are really on the ropes here now, and they have shown no inclination to slow down Luka Doncic, who is sort of changing the whole concept of a Euro. I mean, he's just sort of it's not just all finesse. I mean, he's doing it lots of different ways, and the Clippers don't seem to have an answer. They had better pick up the pace now. I wonder, there's something chemistry-wise about the Clippers. I'm just not sure We saw it last year in the bubble. They just didn't respond that well. And right now, it's, Kawhi came up at 41 the other night, but it wasn't enough. And you just wonder. Paul George always seems like he's kind of brooding. And I, from the outset, didn't know that Ty Lue was an upgrade from Doc Rivers on the bench. I thought that was kind of a panic move by Steve Ballmer, the owner. And look where Doc's at right now with Philadelphia looking pretty good. So they got some problems. And you lose your first 2 at home, you go out there, Clippers have dug themselves a really big hole in this.
I think they're done personally, and I'm with you. I think there's some kind of chemistry thing that's not right there. In 10 seconds, because we're really late already, I, like the rest of Vegas, have the Golden Knights tonight. Are they going to advance?
I'm not sure. They're 2-7 their last 9 closeout games. They got a problem. It's going to be low scoring tonight, so I'd look under first of all, and then I'm not thrilled about their chances. They're missing something here.
Okay. Thank you, my friend. How do we get more of you?
Yeah, check us out on LineGoldSheet.com. NBA write-ups every day as long as the playoffs keep going, plus our picks, basketball, hockey, baseball, even soccer this weekend, Champions League final. GoldSheet.com. My picks there. They're also Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
We will take a break. When we come back, Brett will update us. Thank you. Yeah. Brett will update us on the SEC baseball tournament. We'll try to get an update on what's happening in the American, and we'll let you know what's happening at the Colonial. That to come in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Sports 56 mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane. Weekday mornings from 7 till 10 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
Summer means longer days and sometimes longer weekends. Make the most of yours with Memorial Day savings now at the Home Depot. In-store, online, store-wide. Get grilling and saving with a 5-burner Next grill for only $199. Regularly $249. Save on everything from mulch to mowers. Ready, set, summer. Memorial Day savings. Here now, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done while supplies last.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You looking for a ride equipped with family fun for everyone? We got it at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike during the Jeep Freedom Days and Memorial Day sales event. 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $23,990 or $299 a month. 2021 Dodge Charger XST, $31,110 or $399 a month. 2021 Jeep Wrangler Sport, $335 a month. And 2021 Fiat 500X Pop all-wheel drive, $24,490 or $329 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1900 Covington Pike, or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, 75 months at 4.15% APR, 500X, MP 8982, MSRP 27885, Renegade MPM 44788, MSRP 26240, Charger SXT, MH 561998, MSRP 33110, Wrangler MW 725203, MSRP 3316, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/21 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hey, we understand. With everything that's happening, with all the new regulations, maybe you're not ready to come and hang out at Sweetgrass to catch a ball game. We want you to, we really do. And we're open for you to do just that. But we're also offering the next best thing, the new Sweetgrass Tailgate Party Packs. Whether it's wings, house-made dips, sliders, or other Sweetgrass tasty treats, all you have to do is call us or go to sweetgrassmemphis.com to order just what you're dreaming of when you're dreaming of watching sports and enjoying some sweet, sweet Sweetgrass.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Well, welcome back in. We mentioned a little bit earlier the Ole Miss game with Vandy, the Rebels up in the ninth comfortably. I think it was
It's a
4-1,
final.
and that's it. 4-1. Is that your final?
4-1, Ole Miss wins, gets revenge over 2 weeks ago in Oxford, lost 13-2 to Jack Leiter and the Doors in Oxford 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow they win. They play Arkansas in the semis, and from here on it's just
single.
one game,
Yeah.
just singles. So
if you
Ole
win,
Miss and Arkansas at
you
3
win,
tomorrow.
You win 2 more games, and you're the champ, right?
You're the champ. Arkansas's never won the SEC title, and no team coming out of Tuesday has ever won it. So something's got to give in the Rebels Razorback. Tennessee and Florida at noon. And for Ole Miss, Arkansas right now, baseball may be a bigger rivalry than the other two sports, men's basketball or football. Certainly not with Tennessee and Florida.
No. The advancement to this position right now, that locks in being a host, right? That's done.
If it doesn't, then, well, you can just be really mad.
That
pitching performance today by Tyler Myers was outstanding for Ole Miss.
Very good.
To go out and give them
Very
7
good.
innings. You wanted maybe 3 or 4 innings out of him. And that's scattered in 9 or 10 hits and giving up 3 or 4 runs, and he was just lights out. Dave, Will asked Tim Doolin about this. I think it really helped Ole Miss that there was not the proverbial book on him against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt didn't know anything about him, and their approach is great. Very aggressive, and he pitched in the strike zone and ahead most of the day, and it got him the win.
So that game, you say tomorrow, 3:30?
Around that time.
Okay.
The first game
Right.
starts at noon, so I would say about that time. Tennessee and Florida at noon, Ole Miss and Arkansas after that. The 2 winners meet Sunday to be champions of the SEC. All of them are going to the NCAA tournament. All of them, Arkansas
Right.
and Tennessee, are locks to host. All the way through.
That is terrific. There's no question about that.
The Florida coach is in a lot of rumor mill. I mean, it looks like a lot of people could kind of pull the Tommy Tuberville and move around in the SEC.
Well, that's exactly what the rumor is on the Rebel coach, Mike Bianco. So we'll get into that for sure. I guess I wouldn't blame Mike because, there seems to have been earlier this year after they became number
After they
one,
lost to LSU.
and then lost a bunch of games. There was a lot of heat on him, and
Lost that series to LSU really had people howling, and I don't get it. I talked about it at the time. Isn't this exactly the relevance nationally you could only dream about for football, and you want to stay this aggravated at him in baseball?
Well,
in the spirit of unintended consequences, do you know the next guy would continue this path?
Right.
Do you know that?
This guy's
if
been
you
pretty
do,
good.
then if you do, then you can see the future better than I can.
There you go. And for him, it would quiet people for at least a couple of years. He resets the clock. But I read some Twitter quotes saying, whoever the next guy is, better be careful because LSU baseball fans are a lot like Ole Miss, like Alabama football fans.
They are in Kentucky basketball. I think
you better win.
It's the pressure cooker job in the league, and they've had such stability with Skip Burtman to Paul Maneri. But you're talking stability. Arkansas's had 2 baseball coaches, 2, Norm DeBryan and Dave Van Horn, since 1970.
Whew. Well, how long did Skip?
Skip went from 83 or 84 to Paul Maneri to now,
Yeah, that's
so
what I
thought.
had
the stability.
Yeah, I was just
Ole
gonna
Miss
say.
Ole Miss has had 2 baseball coaches roughly in the 20th century. Pat Harris, our friend John Insco's father-in-law, was preceded Mike Bianco, and now Mike's 19-year run.
Long time. That at the top, they've had pretty good stability in all those programs. Arkansas, LSU, even with just the
State
two.
as well had a little hiccup a few years ago, but State's maintained a lot of stability.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So anyway, Tennessee and Florida, Ole Miss, Arkansas. You can hear the Rebels and the Hogs 12:30 around that. I'm suspecting, I haven't heard this from Eli, but I'm willing to bet you'll hear those on Sports 56 98.5 and on 96.1 for the Tigers. Trouble. They lost today. Season's over. They're not going anywhere after this. They lose to the team they beat 12-1 by the run rule. They lose today to East Carolina, the number 1 seed in the American tournament. They lose 12-0.
Everybody's out of pitching.
We are assuming that was the 10-run rule there, too.
It was.
Everybody runs out of pitching at this point. You're just on fumes. That's across the country. That's the top level.
Everybody needs to make sure with the heat coming now, and you know it's hot, you better have your air conditioning system up to snuff, and I can get that done for you for $69. Well, I can't, but John Conway can. Conway Services does this every year, and they always seem to add things. $69, you get the 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up that's inside and outside, right? They get all the dirt and the leaves and the grime out of your outside unit. Now, what they've always done really is they've added this little Teflon coating that protects those blades outside from the hot summer sun. So that's always sort of been a throw-in, still $69. Now, they're going to throw in a Freon leak check for nothing. You know, some air conditioners, they leak Freon. That costs you money. They'll do that leak check as part of the $69 deal. When you get your system tuned up, I get it twice a year, right before winter, right before summer. I've already had my summer one done. I do that because that way my system lasts longer because it's efficient. And when you have an efficient system, you're saving money on your MLGW bill. Please call 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. That's an hour in the books, 2 hours away from the holiday. We'll begin this second hour with our friend from the Daily Memphian who was in Salt Lake City. Drew Hill on the Grizzlies comes your way in just a minute.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you are treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with these hot items for dads and grads. Featuring the new Callaway Epic Woods and Apex irons with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. And don't miss these hot gifts from Bushnell, like the Tour V5 or the Tour V5 Shift with Pin Seeker technology, or the Wingman with Bluetooth and audible GPS for distance. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Start your engines Mid-South and get ready to ride in your new Mitsubishi from Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike. Who doesn't want 41 mpg highway today? We Gossett with 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $14,647 or $179 a month. And take your pick with dynamic redesign in your 2022 Outlander or 2022 all-new Eclipse Cross, now $309 a month. All powered by a stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Plus, test drive today and you'll receive a free gift card on us. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 stock number MHF 06296, MSRP 17735, Outlander NZ00 8245, MSRP 27260, Cross NZ00 4494, MSRP 27725, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax not on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2021, dealer stock only.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in as we wind our way toward the Memorial Day holiday. Nice to have you all with us. Dave Woloshin, Stats Norsworthy, Drew Barrett on the other side, and we get set for what could be one rollicking evening late tomorrow night at FedEx Forum. The Jazz will be in town. The Grizz are all set. The Grizz have home court advantage for the moment. How different will that be from the way it was in Salt Lake City? So we wanted to try to figure that out. We ended up getting the opportunity to chat with the young man from the Daily Memphian who's been covering the Grizzlies full-time now for a little over a year, and he was in Salt Lake City. Drew Hill joins us now. Drew, what was that fan experience like? It seemed like it was just about a full house, and we know it got nasty for John Morant's parents and for Dylan Brooks's parents. What do you make of that scene? Good afternoon.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy in there. I wrote in my game story, like, you kind of knew it was going to be extra wild for game 2 when a drunk Jazz fan, like, ducked the ropes to the mascot area and, like, was using the crank horn that the mascot's supposed to use before the game. And you had drunk fans, like, on the horn, like, trying to fire the arena up 30 minutes before. So you knew, like, at that point that it was going to get a little hectic. Clearly the Utah fans that had a part in saying the disgusting things that they said to Ja and Dylan's parents crossed the line here. It's just not an appropriate way for anyone to act, period, at a basketball game or not at a basketball game, but especially in front of kids and other people that were there. And I was fortunate enough to fly home and ended up talking to T and Jamie Morant. They were on my flight. And they are so nice. They were so nice, just to everybody, and they are just generally very nice people. And so, that they weren't outraged, but they were clearly really disappointed in the things that were said, and happy that it ended up working out the way that it did, because they deserve to be banned forever. Those Jazz fans that said those horrible things. So. Yeah, I think it was crazy in there, but I think it was classy for Ja to come out and say it was only those those bad fans, and that doesn't mean all Jazz fans are bad, but they stepped over the line for sure.
Oh yeah, and we should point out those fans have been banned. And the other thing I saw on Twitter that I thought was spot on was that in all the instances with everybody from Trae Young to Westbrook and to what happened to the folks, to the parents of Ja and Dylan, the other Jazz fans or Madison Square Garden fans or Philly fans, they all turned in the bad fans.
The offenders.
The offenders were turned in by the other fans. And that's what you need in order to keep sanity.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. Yeah. And honestly, after hearing all of these terrible stories about, what's happening in the case of Trae Young and Westbrook, you see it. It's captured on camera. It's just out there for everybody to see. After watching and hearing about all of these things, if you're a Grizzlies fan going to FedEx Forum, I mean, you got to be thinking like, all right, hopefully we don't have an incident like this. But if we do, like, you should turn those people in. That there's no place for that in sports. And I think that with Ja's comment on Twitter about, not every Utah fan was bad, in a way he's almost saying, go be rowdy, but go be respectful. He's been talking about home court advantage for, since this series started, how he wants to get home and play in front of a Memphis crowd and play, in a playoff atmosphere at home. But he also wants Grizzlies fans to be respectful, and I think you kind of owe it to the team to go be loud and also be respectful if you're a Grizzlies fan.
Drew, real quickly, put your amateur psychologist hat on for us, and Dave, you as well. Why do you think, and Dave mentioned earlier, maybe this pent-up frustration, and Dave wasn't using it as an excuse. It was just throwing out possible. But why do you think, Drew, is it the price of tickets? What is it that makes somebody think, what in the world could enter somebody's mind to spit on someone else?
They're stupid. I mean, honestly, I don't even know, other than they're just dumb. Or there's been too much alcohol involved. That would be my guess. In almost
Drew,
all
I've
these
drank the
scenarios.
7 C's, and I've never spit on anyone.
They're stupid. Then the answer is just they're stupid. I don't know. It's dumb. There's no place for it, and they shouldn't be. They should never put these players in a position to feel like they're either unsafe or unwelcome inside a basketball arena where they're supposed to be entertaining everybody that's there.
I think this is an evolution over the last 15 or 20 years. I really do. I think, one, stupidity is a part of it. So, Drew, that's spot on.
What they make, what the tickets cost.
Two, I think alcohol is a part of it. But three, we've seen this really with almost the beginning of the internet, where you had message boards that allowed anonymity and just cruel and vicious things to be spoken. And it's just sort of evolved and carried into being more out in the open. Westbrook made a good point. The guy would never, if you saw him on the street, throw popcorn at him because he knows there's going to be consequences. That guy was a little leery, and most of the time there are not consequences. And maybe we haven't spelled out protocol as well as we should. But I've sort of seen this thing going on for a long time, and it seems to be escalating even more, which is why I believe the league does need to put its foot down. The most disappointing thing to me, Drew, is that, Westbrook said this has been going on for a long time. No, really, it hasn't, because we haven't had fans in stands all year. And for them to just come back now and still do this, that to me is disappointing.
Well, yeah, and you mentioned the protocols. I don't think the protocol, if you update the protocols and set the rules, these people that are the offenders in these situations, I don't think they give a crap about whatever the rule is. If you said, don't dump popcorn on the players, I think that they know that they shouldn't be dumping popcorn on the players. The people are just stupid. It's getting out of control, and it's ridiculous. And honestly, I've seen it said in multiple places that are like, I honestly wish that the players could just have their get their opportunity to go face to face with whoever it is that does something like that, because that they would in that setting
stop it.
Like you said, they would never do it. That would immediately end it if you allowed that to happen. That would
Drew,
immediately end these problems.
It's why the malice at the palace, it got way out of control. There was a lot of wrong there, but one of the best parts of the video is when one of the punks in the crowd that was egging it on, when he saw Ron Artest look at him, and Ron Artest was now in the stands, that guy looked like, uh-oh, I went too far.
Yep, and I hope that they get it sorted out. And look, I've always got faith that Memphis will be good about this sort of thing, but I don't put anything past it. You're seeing it everywhere. It's not just in one place. So, man, I really hope we have no incidents.
Well, let's police ourselves. If you hear something untoward being said, text that Usher number that is posted at every game. Text that number if you hear something above, miss a free throw or whatever. We know what the decorum is. Like you said, Drew, you don't have to have from any type of upbringing, you don't throw popcorn on somebody.
Yep, exactly.
All right, let's get to the game. Let's talk about tomorrow night. I don't think anybody expects Ja Morant to score 47 points again, but they expect more playing time out of Valanciunas and Dillon Brooks. That is for certain. What do you foresee will occur tomorrow evening?
I think the key for the Grizzlies is that foul trouble that you mentioned. It starts with Dillon Brooks. They need that guy on the floor. I mean, he's got to be able to stay on the floor for them because he's just so important to their entire operation, especially defensively, and because the bench has not been very good. You haven't gotten much from Grayson Allen. You haven't gotten much from DeAnthony Melton. It's his birthday, by the way, so happy birthday to DeAnthony Melton. But they haven't gotten as much as they would probably hope from those guys. That doesn't mean they're not capable. I mean, we've seen them play great during the regular season, so I wouldn't be shocked if either of the two of them, turned it on. But Dillon has been a step above all of those guys at the two-guard position, and he's their best defender on Donovan Mitchell. So he's got to find a way to stay out of foul trouble. I think that's priority number one. And priority number two is just making the right adjustments. This is going to be a chess match. That's what Kyle Anderson called it. They could not stay in front of Ja Morant in Game 2 or in Game 1, frankly. Ja has gotten to every spot on the floor. He can get wherever he wants to go. He can get the defender, whether it be Mike Conley or another guard, on his back. He's making these little floaters and touch shots around the rim. I would be shocked if the Jazz don't have a completely different strategy going into Game 3. I think you might see the strategy where they just blitz every single ball screen and bring both guys at Ja and try to get the ball out of his hands. But I think that the Jazz are going to make some sort of adjustment. It would be smart if the Grizzlies anticipated what they're going to do and found a way to keep Ja as, the number one option on offense, because they're just a much better team when he is. And there was a stretch during the season where I think Ja was deferring a little bit too much when the Grizzlies really needed him to be aggressive and be the guy that tries to score. He needs to remain that guy, even if the Jazz try and take him away.
Drew, I know you have to stay focused on this series. You have to stay focused on the game Saturday night. But if you had all allowed yourself to let your mind wander a little bit on that flight home with a little round of insomnia that every writer I've ever known in my life has had rounds of insomnia, have you let it wander to, if they win this series, the potential of playing Dallas? If they win this series, I said when the schedule comes out next year, you'll see Memphis Grizzlies Christmas Day hosting a game on national TV. Have you let your mind wander at all about those things?
A little bit. Only a little, I would say. Obviously, the Dallas matchup becomes interesting because the last time you saw the Grizzlies play Dallas, they killed them. They whooped them. And I think that, that probably makes you pretty optimistic. And then the time that they played before that, it took a miracle shot from Luka for them to win the game. So if you do get to a Dallas series, you got to feel pretty good about the Grizzlies' chances. And so, yeah, I have thought about that. As far as Christmas Day goes, No, I don't think I had thought about that until right now. But
Okay.
but maybe that is a possibility.
Well, tell us what you're thinking about during your insomnia, because I know you've had it.
I'm going to say this: the Grizzlies are going to be a lot of different places, all because Josh scored 47 the other night.
He's that transcendent.
I think that absolutely opened up the door for a lot of positive national publicity for this team. You mentioned what they're going to try to do to take away John Morant. What will the Grizzlies do to slow down Donovan Mitchell? When Donovan Mitchell plays against the Grizzlies, they win.
That's going to be really difficult because he's a superstar, and it's almost like the Steph Curry treatment where you just want to slow him down, not so much as, find a way to stop him, because you're probably not going to be able to do that. You just got to stay out of foul trouble. You got to play smart. I mean, the best chance the Grizzlies have to guard him is still Dillon Brooks. I know Dillon's numbers aren't great against Donovan this year, but he's your best defender, and he looked awesome against Steph Curry. They're very different players. Donovan's a little bit more quick off the dribble. He's a little bit more athletic than Steph. And so he might be a little bit more of a challenge for Dillon. But it starts and stops with making sure Dillon can stay on the floor and play against him and stay out of foul trouble. And I think part of this is also on Taylor Jenkins. He's been pretty quick with the hook as soon as guys get foul trouble. He'll pull you straight to the bench once you get your second foul in the first quarter. And if I'm him, I might consider leaving the guys out there a little bit longer, even if they're in foul trouble, because you saw at the end of the game the other night on Wednesday that
he had
Jonas
fouls.
finished with only 4 fouls,
Yeah.
and Dillon only finished with 4 fouls.
Right.
So, you had times that they could have been in the game, and you didn't play them because you were being really conservative. I think you should be a little bit more aggressive, especially with Dillon. Maybe not so much JV, but especially with Dillon, because he's your best option on Donovan Mitchell.
How great was it to be in a building, except for the knuckleheads, and knuckleheads is too kind of a word for the offenders. How great was it to be in a building with it rocking? And don't you think we're building to the good type of bowl, the fever pitch down on Beale Street for tomorrow night and Monday night?
Oh, yeah, it was a ton of fun. And like you said, it's not all, like Josh said, I should say, it's not all the Jazz fans were bad. Most of them were nice. And so it was really fun to be back in that atmosphere. It was fun to hear them boo Dillon, who seemed to love being booed. He was all about that. And it was fun to hear him cheer. And when Donovan Mitchell came back, he got a big applause. And I think when the Grizzlies finally get back in FedEx Forum tomorrow, it's going to be a moment for Dillon Brooks, because he's going to get a huge cheer from the Grizzlies fans who have really fallen in love with him this year after last year maybe having some frustrations with him in the bubble. This is going to be Dillon Brooks' moment when he's introduced for Game 3, it feels like. And it should be a ton of fun. It is great to have the fans back.
I am with you. I think until Morant had that incredible performance the other night, the new darling for this team had been Dillon Brooks, because he was shutting down the other scorers, and he had 31 in that first game to help really win that game. He has grown up just the same way Ja has this year.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's been nothing but terrific in these play-in games. The only thing is the foul trouble. That's really the only thing. He hasn't put, and maybe he will put out a game where he doesn't shoot the ball as well, but that's sort of to be expected. And at this point, he's hitting at such a high rate that it's impossible to get frustrated with it and finish a Dillon Brooks game, because everybody's going to have one of those games eventually. And he was great against San Antonio. He was great against the Warriors. He's been great against the Jazz, and he was awesome the first game and pretty good in the second game and led him back in the third quarter. I mean, he has delivered on all of these postseason games, and he deserves all the credit he's getting right now, because he has been, if not, Ja is probably their most important player and their best player, but Dillon Brooks is not far behind.
He's also the best quote, isn't he? I mean, he's probably if we're just talking about interesting fellas, because you don't get that much from JV. I'd love to know what he's like, but I think you do get a lot out of the personality with Dylan.
Yeah, he's the best quote. I think he is the best quote. And sometimes you get a fun answer from Ja. Sometimes Jaron's just a funny guy. He's a little bit more humorous. Dylan is serious in almost everything he does, but he is so confident. There's no telling what he's going to say. And yeah, that makes him even more lovable, and it makes him a pretty good quote.
It's fun. It is. And I know you're having a good time, and I know you actually have some work you've got to do, so we'll let you go. We do appreciate your time
Drew.
today, Drew, and have fun tomorrow. That should be special on Beale Street tomorrow night.
Yeah, thank you guys, and hopefully we'll still be talking about the Grizzlies for a couple more weeks.
That would be fun. That would really be cool, for sure. That is Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian.
The Germantown Commissary this weekend wants to thank all the people that have worn the uniform, and to those families that paid the ultimate sacrifice, thank you immensely from Walker Taylor and his entire staff at either commissary, the new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Tomorrow night, if you can't get downtown, get out on that patio at Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar. It'll be rocking. It'll be a lot of fun. Memphis-style barbecue ribs, so delicious, authentic Memphis-style great food because it's slow. It takes time to prepare that barbecue, but you can start that barbecue feast with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales, the barbecue nachos, the smoked chicken wings. They're fantastic. You can make a meal out of all of that, but save room to dive into the ribs or the shoulder, get it chopped or pulled. 901-754-5540 or online at Commissary Barbecue in Collierville and in Germantown. In Germantown, in the early 80s, the originator of the barbecue nachos. Everybody's doing them now. Only Walker Taylor was doing them then. He's still doing them now and doing them better than anyone from 1980 to now. All the sides, beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can even order it by the pound, 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack, and save room for dessert. The terrific banana pudding and the best lemon icebox pie I've ever had anywhere. Had it last Saturday afternoon. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybarbecue.com.
You got me hungry, and you know how much I love that. So that's 41 years of excellence that Walker Taylor and those guys have been able to accomplish. So you heard Drew Hill's talk about how important keeping Valanciunas, Jaren Jackson, and Dylan Brooks on the floor is. And I mentioned yesterday the story about there's a star system. We know that. Did you see what Chris Paul had to say last night? He was upset.
Dave.
He says he is 0 for his last 11 playoff games if Scott Foster is the referee. Now, that was really interesting.
That's
to
bold.
me because I was listening to it. I think it was the Grizzlies pregame. And I don't know who made this statement, but somebody had said that when the Grizzlies play Golden State, this was before the Grizzlies game against Golden State on the Sunday that they lost. Scott Foster was the lead referee in that game. And they were saying when Scott Foster is the referee and it's Memphis against Golden State, the Grizzlies were like 2-9 against the Warriors. Now, the Warriors are pretty good too. But I found that interesting that this is the second
Dave.
person that has said Scott Foster, when he's on a game, you got to wonder about it being down the middle.
The 30 for 30 I want the most is the job they did on Sacramento in the early part of the 21st century in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. They pure D wanted Kobe and Shaq in those finals. Everybody knows that was not a thumb on the scale. That was standing with two legs and bringing in cinder blocks on the scales. Everybody knows it, too. Michael Wilbon's talked about it. He just went in the Hall of Fame last weekend, into the Basketball Hall of Fame, and he's talked about everybody knew that was an inside job.
Oh, that's like the frozen envelope. It seems that the NBA is the one league and gets away with it, but it is the one league that is on the edge when it comes to fair play. And, you know, I've heard insiders will talk about how there is a star system. I mean, they're not even denying that. And I just don't understand how that helps the league. But, it's not like the league is dying. So they're the one league that has been able to get away with that kind of stuff. It's interesting to me. And now you've had, in the last few weeks, Scott Foster has come up as a guy who does not necessarily play it right down the middle. And, here he is working deep into the playoffs. This hour of our program is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. It's right there at Craft Road and Highway 78. That's the very first exit in Mississippi. It's also home to Genesis of Olive Branch, the best luxury car on the market for the money. There is no question about it. And every automotive magazine that I've been reading is now saying if you are looking for a bang for your buck, it's not even close. It's Genesis, the G70, the G80, the G90, or even that GV80, that SUV that you can't get because they sell out of them every time they are on a lot. I mean, they go quickly. Now, Vinny Gerard, who is heading up the department for Chris True at Genesis of Olive Branch, has kept one so that you can go demo it and get a sense of it, and then you can order it. But, man, they're good cars. All those new cars, Hyundai or Genesis, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, and that's the product. Now you got the service, 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package for the last couple of years they throw in. Why? Because they want to take care of you. Let them change your oil. Let them rotate your tires. Let them take care of you. That's the beauty of the whole thing at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We'll talk a little SEC baseball, maybe SEC more than just baseball. Football might get thrown in there too. Pat Smith, who's been on the show many times from Jocks. I just saw he tweeted out he was going to be on the show with us. We appreciate the promotion. He comes your way in just a minute.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
You looking for a ride equipped with family fun for everyone? We got it at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike during the Jeep Freedom Days and Memorial Day sales event. 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $23,990 or $299 a month. 2021 Dodge Charger XST, $31,110 or $399 a month. 2021 Jeep Wrangler Sport, $335 a month. And 2021 Fiat 500X Pop All-Wheel Drive, $24,490 or $329 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1900 Covington Pike or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, 75 months at 4.15% APR, 500X, MP 8982, MSRP 27885, Renegade MPM 44788, MSRP 26240, Charger SXT, MH 561998, MSRP 33110, Wrangler MW 725203, MSRP 33610, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax out on license, see dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/21 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Memphis, it's official. Crab Kings is where it's at. The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp and chicken pasta. Now available is the salmon and fried lobster pasta, snow crabs, king crab, dungeons, and more. Don't forget about the calamari, shrimp, and lobster. The portion, the price, the taste. Only at Crab King. Visit us at crabkingtn.com. Crab King Seafood and Pasta. East Memphis location now open till midnight for carry-out. Memphis favorites.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
With double the seasoned beef and a large drink all for $5, Taco Bell's Grande Nachos truly deserves a Grande intro, perhaps with a Grande beat box. Said it's crunchy, cheesy, beat. Actually, that sounded better in my head. Go get the $5 Grande Nachos before they make a exit. Nope. Only at Taco Bell. At limited participating locations for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes. Double the seasoned beef as compared to the Nachos Bell Grande.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in, halfway home to the Memorial Day holiday on this Friday. Brett, guess who's back in first place?
I think that's tied for first place.
Well, that is accurate. That is just a little added information.
And Pat Smith is a bigger Cardinal fan, maybe bigger than I. And there are not many people I encounter bigger.
Nobody.
No, Pat Smith, formative years in St. Louis, I think maybe grandparents. But, and he's deep in the heart of Braves country. And I think some Cub fans around him at Jocks, like we have the one outlier, or two with Eli, or three with Tillery, four with Peter. We have
Tillery. Tillery is he's a Cub fan. That's right.
No, he's a Cub fan.
Right. That's right.
He's a Cub fan.
Thank you for getting that.
We have some of y'all in our mix.
That's amazing. I think we might
we
outnumber you.
I know.
1-0 today.
It's math.
Reds couldn't do a darn thing against that Cub pitching.
And the Cubs are doing in this good run, they're winning a lot of different ways, and that's when you're good. When you can win 8-5, when you can win 1-0, when you win 5-4, that's when you're rounding into being a good team.
No question about it. But let's talk some SEC baseball and a whole bunch more.
Help me, Pat. See what I got to deal with here, man.
Pat, are you literally a bigger Cardinal fan than Brett Norsworthy? Because I would have thought that to be impossible.
Well, I'm telling you, it would probably be tough to compare. But, again, I was up late last night, not only watching SEC baseball on one television, but then I had the Cardinals and Diamondbacks on the other TV. And, it's close. It's close. But, yeah, being stuck down here in Braves country, it's painful.
I think you get extra strike because you're stuck in such a bigger break. It's easy for me because this is Cardinals country. There's no debate about that. But Birmingham has been lost a long time ago. It's lock solid Brave country.
There's no question. And one of my co-hosts on the it's interesting because there's three of us on the show. One of them's a diehard Yankee fan. Other one is a diehard Braves fan, and then there's me, the Cardinal fan, and of course the Braves fan. Since we carry the Braves on our station, WJOX here in Birmingham, then of course we have to, put up with the Braves update every day. So it's difficult times, but again, it's good to be a Cardinal fan, and it's good to be on with you guys today.
All right, so I know you've been watching the SEC. We got semis now: Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss, Arkansas. That, by the way, is a game you can listen to around 3:30. Excuse me, tomorrow afternoon, Ole Miss and the Hogs. That'll be a lot of fun. But the news today is that Paul Minari has retired from LSU baseball. He is by the way, number one active coach in wins in college baseball at the moment. I don't know if he'll continue because he said retired. But my friend Brett Norsworthy said he resigned. Which is the case?
Well, we talked to a couple people down in Baton Rouge as the SEC baseball tournament got started earlier this week, and they told us that he's been having some health issues and that it would not surprise them in the least if by the end of the week he would find himself resigning or retiring his position there at LSU. So going on the information that we have, it seems to me that, some health issues, some things that he needs to take care of. He's 63 years old. Again, he's had a great career there at LSU, and of course, after he lost finished runner-up in the College World Series, back in 2017. It has not been quite the way LSU fans think it should go down there, but I don't think it was a situation of them running him out. I think it was a collection of things. So now we get to see what they do in regards to the hiring of their next coach, and we saw what they did with their women's basketball team. So you would think that LSU is probably going to reach for the stars again in trying to fill this position.
See, Pat, I think the current climate at the Louisiana State University is going to end up getting them all, and Ed Orgeron included. I have said I don't think Ed Orgeron runs out on the field opening afternoon against UCLA. I might miss that one, but I don't think I don't think he needs a 30-year he didn't have any mortgage, but I don't think he'd need a 30-year mortgage in Baton Rouge.
Well, I will tell you this: a lot of people that we talk to down there, and they are consistent when they tell us this, that it's a mess. It is an absolute mess down there in regards to what's going on off campus, the legalities that's being. You got Title IX issues. So until they get a better understanding or indication of where that's going to go with that investigation and with the federal government involved, there's no telling, Brett. I mean, you may be right with that call on Orgeron or maybe some other folks that's been involved with that football program. So I think it's kind of a wait-and-see attitude right now, what's going to happen. But, again, back to the LSU baseball situation, I will give them fans credit. I was in Hoover yesterday, and I will tell you that even though that they were bounced out early, the LSU fans still populating Metro Birmingham, and they're just good baseball fans.
They're the best.
Mississippi State fans. Yeah,
they're the Bama like football and Kentucky like basketball. They are the titular head of SEC baseball.
There's no question about it. And then let me go back a second, guys, because I can't tell you how awesome it has been this week to have these schools in town. And you guys have seen the attendance, and it has been phenomenal. It's been great. The city of Hoover has obviously done a tremendous job along with the SEC. And it almost feels normal, guys. And then we get the schedules that were released this week, the television, the times, and then all of a sudden, we're feeling like we're going to get on with our lives, and hopefully we can move past what we've all been through, which is the hell of the last year.
I want to hug total strangers, man. I really do, and that's probably not the response the CDC and all the officials would want. But I'm really to that point, and I can't wait for college football, and I love the schedule coming out. And I like that the second weekend. This doesn't mean a lot to everyone, but it does to me. Ole Miss and Austin Peay, and that generally is kind of the perfect kind of 11 o'clock SEC network game. It's not going to be. It's going to be at night. It's going to be like a 7 o'clock game, I think. Yes, it's going to be at 6:30. 6:30. It's going to be 6:30 on the SEC network. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to get out in the Grove that morning from about 7 o'clock on and enjoy.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be great, and getting these schedules and getting the full bowl allotment yesterday. I mean, I actually saw somebody, on Twitter make a statement like, "Oh, there's too many bowl games," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? There's not enough. Give me more. Just pump more bowl games into my bloodstream." I mean, I need it, and especially after the year that we just had. I mean, when I saw that the Bahamas Bowl was coming back, I was doing back handsprints. I mean, I was ecstatic.
On a Friday.
Exactly. I mean, it's fantastic. But I will say one thing about this schedule, and we were talking about this with our listeners today on the show, is that be prepared because especially that first weekend of the season, I believe that there's 4 SEC teams, 4 SEC games that are going to be on the digital platforms. And so you're going to see a lot of that the first 3 weeks of the season. So you need to familiarize yourself right now how you can get the SEC plus the additional channels that carry the games.
I'm
I
in
know
trouble.
A lot of people, need to get it.
Help us here. When you say that, you really mean all they have to do is get ESPN Plus, right? Isn't that
correct?
The digital?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And
yes, correct.
Arkansas and Rice are going to be on that.
So let me ask my co-host here, Brett Norsworthy, he's been a holdout.
I took a vow to not add any more TV, Pat.
Hey, are you going to spend the $5 So you can watch every $5 a month. So you can watch every.
I'm not
football
because I'm
game.
not going to be at home, but I hope the end at Ole Miss does, where I can get it there.
There you go. There you go. But folks need to get prepared for that because it kind of shocked some of our listeners today when we started. We really dove deep into the schedule, and we said, look, opening weekend, September 4th, there's 4 games that you're going to have to go to ESPN Plus, SEC Network, that it's all digital. And then September 11th, you're going to have another 2 to 3 games. And then the September 18th week, you're going to have 3 more games involved. You know, the Kentucky's, Missouri's, and Tennessee versus Tennessee Tech type games. Those are all going to be a part of the ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus digital platform. So with this new contract that's going to go into effect between the SEC and ESPN, folks are going to have to get used to this. They're going to continue to push these things to the digital side of things, and maybe one day we'll get Brett to come over to the dark side.
Well, let's be honest. It's smart of ESPN. They were losing a revenue stream because they weren't getting the same amount of subscribers through the cable networks, and they had to figure out a way to get some of that revenue back, and they found a way. They like the American Athletic Conference has to produce each school somewhere between 80 and 120 events a year that ESPN Plus will carry, and that was to entice people to spend $5 a month, and it's working. And and the schools, for the most part, are the ones that are paying for the majority of the production fees. So, again, it was brilliant, and that is going to be the trend, and we're going to see more and more streaming like that from digital aspects from here on out with all kinds of programming, not just sports. That's for sure. I want to go to the to the semifinals, the big bowls, the big games, the ones that will take place on the 31st, the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl this year. Those are your semifinals. Are you guys surprised they were playing them on New Year's Eve? Because I recall they did that. I don't know if it was the first year or the second year that
kind of a swing and miss early.
Oh, it was terrible.
They got out of it.
It was terrible because they found people are used to doing parties.
Their New Year's Eve thing.
And New Year's Day is around the ball games. New Year's Eve is around couples and socials and parties, things of that nature. I was really surprised they decided to go back to this.
You know, I was too, because I believe it was Alabama when they played Washington, if I'm not mistaken. It was when it was over in Atlanta. I think that might have been the last time that it was on New Year's Eve. And, of course, you know, being in Atlanta on New Year's Eve, there's worse places you could potentially be to celebrate. But I remember some of the bowl executives, especially once the TV ratings came out, and, you know, they took it on the chin because, like you said, I mean, people are starting to look at, okay, well, you know, this is what we've always done. We've always gone to, you know, a friend's New Year's Eve party and do this and do that. And a lot of people, I know I hate to say it, but a lot of people might not be that college football, you know, they love it as much as we do. So that was definitely an issue. So, yeah, I'm surprised too, but maybe it's a situation that based on the fact that we've gone through everything we've gone through, and now we're going to get back to normal, and maybe they're rolling the dice and saying, you know what, we're good with keeping it here. If we have an issue moving forward after this year, we might can adjust it with calendars in the future. But at least for this year, I think a lot of people are betting on the fact that folks are going to come back to the stadiums in droves, and we all know that attendance was an issue with a lot of schools, even before the pandemic took place. Folks were deciding to stay at home and watching it on their 80-inch television and not have to stand in line to go to the bathroom or buy a $20 hot dog. I mean,
or take 2 hours to get out of the ballpark.
Exactly. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, how these universities deal with the shortfalls. We see the SEC bailed out their schools, but you've got Big 12, you got Pac-12, you got all sorts of other schools just hemorrhaging right now in regards to the fact that they just have such huge shortfalls and they just don't know where they're going to make it up.
Pat, let me ask you one last question before we let you go. We appreciate you being on with us all the time, and I know we'll do this a lot more as we get closer to football season. But the Birmingham Bowl, I noticed they've moved it up almost a week. It used to be after everything. Now it is on the same day as the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on the 28th. And Memphis could be playing in that game very easily against some SEC opponent. But my question is, will that be in the new stadium?
Absolutely. And guys, let me tell you, it is a phenomenal venue. It is right smack downtown. I've been able to walk it a couple of times during the construction. It is a beautiful facility. It is going to serve UAB, and it's going to help them. Again, UAB has turned the corner the last 3 years in regards to their facilities, the practice facility. It is, and now moving into a brand new building. Matter of fact, the first game UAB is going to play in that building is going to be against Hugh Freeze and the Liberty Flames. That is going to be the first game. It will be in the month of October. And so the Blazers have a really good team coming back in Conference USA. Got a tough schedule. They got to go to Georgia. And like I said, they got Liberty coming here, and Conference USA should be competitive again this year. But yes, the bowl game will be in that new stadium. It's interesting because when Ticket Smarter took over the naming rights, we actually did our show from Legion Field on just a horrible weather day. It's kind of like we've got horrible weather this afternoon here in Birmingham, but it was terrible. And I remember having an interview with the CEO of Ticket Smarter, and they signed a long-term deal for the bowl game, which we were happy to hear because obviously being the civic-minded folks that we wanted, we want this bowl game to continue here in Birmingham. And he said, one of the main keys for me to sign up multi-year as a sponsor for this bowl game is because we want to be multiple years in the new stadium. We are excited. We're fired up, to be able to be downtown in this new venue. So it's going to sit around 48,000. It's going to be perfect downtown Birmingham, around the entertainment district. So we're looking forward to hopefully hosting you guys. Come on back to Birmingham and be able to watch football in a decent venue as opposed to the one on Graymont Avenue.
I think Memphis and UAB should continue to play no matter what. It's a great regional
Battle
game.
of the Bones.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bones.
There you
Let's
go. But by the way, Memphis owns the Battle of the Bones at the moment.
Hey, listen,
I saw him.
I'm a UAB
last
graduate, and we need to get this game going back. Y'all do what you got to do on that end. I'll do what I can do on this end, and we need to get that back going because that rivalry was too good.
It was. It was fun.
Book it.
Thank you, Pat. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Pat. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Pat Smith from Jocks Radio in Birmingham. He's brought to you in part by the Spirit Shop. Well, you guys know, it's the holiday. I know you got to stock up, and I know the easiest place, the best place to do it, beautifully located right in the heart of East Memphis. That's Poplar and St. Nick, 4646 Poplar. It's the Spirit Shop. Eddie Connors and his family have owned that particular establishment for many, many years. They're successful because they do it all the right way. It's a little log cabin you've passed a million times right after you've passed Clark Tower, right down from there. There it is. And you've wondered probably, I hear while they're talking about this thing, how much can be in there? It's a small place. Go in, you'll be amazed. It's spatial engineering that Eddie Connor has come up with. Every inch of that particular building is used to house something, whether it is fine spirits like the best of bourbons. They got Pappies. They got a couple of Pappies in every year. That's hard to get. They've got the best of tequilas. They've got the best of vodkas. They've got the best of gins. And they've also got middle ground and bargains. Same thing with wine. They've got beer. They've got Tiger Tail in there. And they've even got accessories. Like if you would like something for the rim, they've actually got something for you to rim your glasses with. It's got everything. And they're so friendly, and they will educate you on what might be the next up-and-coming spirit. All you got to do is head there. You'll love it. It's almost the weekend. Stock up at the Spirit Shop. We'll put a wrap on this second hour on this Friday in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight. shipped exclusively FedEx. When we put them in nice packaging, we don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with these hot items for dads and grads. Featuring the Titleist TSI family of drivers. Faster in the air, longer off the tee, and straighter down the fairway. And don't miss these hot gifts from Bushnell, like the Tour V5 or the Tour V5 Shift with pin seeker technology. Or the Wingman with Bluetooth and audible GPS for distance. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. And shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. So nice to have you with us as we usher you into the Memorial Day weekend. They were in a rain delay in Fort Worth at the Charles Schwab at Colonial Country Club. It is now back on, and today Jason Kokrak had a heck of a round. He was 5 under today. He's 10 under for the tournament. That is in first place, 1 stroke ahead of the surging Jordan Spieth, who is 2 under today, 9 under for the tourney, only through 5 holes. Brett, I would bet you that Jordan Spieth will have the lead after the second round of this tournament. Sergio Garcia 1 under today. He's at 8 under. So is Sebastian Munoz, who shot 5 under today. The best round was Maverick McNeely. He was 7 under. No, Charlie Hoffman had the best round today. Charlie Hoffman was 8 under. None of us took Charlie, did we?
No. Well, it was discussed, but Maverick McNeely out of that great Stanford men's golf program, he says not so fast on you dubbing Rachel Heck the second best player ever out of Stanford. And I think Tom Watson would have a word with you about that as well.
Ooh, I forgot
Rachel
about
Heck is.
I forgot about Tom Watson.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm going to stack up Rachel.
We're hometown proud.
I'll tell you what. I'll stack up with Rachel with Maverick right now.
I think Rachel Heck would love being in any of that conversation for sure. But
forgot about
you
Watson.
mentioned Jordan Spieth, and that is the ultimate horse for a course, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Although he actually
we
grew
blame
up
it on Drew. Speaking of,
he grew up in Dallas, not Fort Worth, right? I mean, it's right there, but I don't know how much he played Hogan's Alley.
Texas golfer.
Yes.
Yeah, a bunch. I bet. We got to do an NHL pick for the next round. Are you ready?
Oh.
Boston Bruins versus New York Islanders. Drew Barrett.
Give me the Bruins. I'm going to go against your Islanders. Boston's a better team.
Dave.
No question. I'm going Boston Bruins. Take those Islanders, please.
I'm going to.
Okay.
My Islanders.
Okay. Your Islanders. So what happened to your
I don't know why when I said that Island Girl by Elton John is now kicked off in my head. Why?
Really?
What's going on with me? Am I having a stroke? I mean,
when I think of Island, I think
having
of
flashbacks.
I think of Island Woman by Pablo Cruz.
Very good. Well, Pablo Cruz was right in your wheelhouse at Steamboat, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I can't remember. That might have been pre-Steamboat.
That's why you can't remember.
I was exercising today too, Pablo Cruz. I love to put that on.
Nice.
When I'm doing cardio. Yeah. So I just, we're talking about Spieth. What a comeback! Think about that. We love a great comeback.
Well, it is,
story.
but it was a comeback. But really, are the people, and I don't think we were guilty of it, but the people that wrote him off, shouldn't it be more scorn on them than him having a comeback? Because he's still in his 20s, isn't he?
I know it, but he didn't win for 3 years. How many guys? Seriously,
Okay.
I don't know the research on this, but how many guys who start off really hot and then just absolutely go ice cold don't win? 3 years.
Well, we were scared he was Johnny
That's a long
Miller.
time.
That's what we were scared of.
Yeah, I mean, I did not think he would come back this way. He's had a beautiful year, and right now you'd have to say odds on he's the favorite to win this thing for sure.
And you know what he's marking down to is another U.S. Open at Torrey Pines.
Right. Well, I think the real favorite in that is going to be Phil Mickelson.
The sentimental favorite,
for sure.
For sure.
And also, last thing before we send it off into a quick break here, that would be happy 83rd birthday today to Jerry West. You know how I knew it was his 83rd birthday? Ron Tillery tweeted that out today. He was so
Good
happy.
for Ron Tillery.
Yeah, Ron Tillery really likes Jerry West, that is for sure. They had a really good relationship, and I love it when a writer, especially a writer like our friend Ron Tillery was. That was the facts, Jack, right? And he wasn't going to let anything get in his
relationship
way.
business too, Ron.
And he always had great relationships with those people that were in charge. They respected him, no doubt about it. This final portion of hour number 2 is brought to you by Supercuts. The weekend is here. Date night maybe tomorrow. They're open tomorrow at Supercuts. Here's your chance to look good, feel safe. The Safe Salon commitment still in place. And if you're looking for some kind of employment, and the extra benefits you're going to get from unemployment is going to end in July, here is the place to go. This is a great family, the Czech family. Go to supercuts.com. You'll find the nearest place to you or the ones that have the most need for employees. And every store needs some help. That's what Rob Czech himself told me. Supercuts.com, that's the place to go. Then go get a haircut. Because the beauty of Supercuts, besides being safe and always on top of it with all the latest trends, the best thing about it is when you walk out, you look good. Trust me. That's what Supercuts is all about. Back with hour number 3. It starts with Andy Schiffman. It starts in just a minute.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't. And thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Gossett Kia on Covington Pike is celebrating Memorial Day all month long, and we can put you in a new Kia for less than $5 a day. 2021 Kia Forte $139 a month, 2021 Kia Soul $179 a month, and 2021 Kia K5 built in America $199 a month. All 36-month leases only $3,049 to its signing. Plus, peace of mind you can trust with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Forte $139 a month lease, Soul $179 a month lease, K5 $199 a month lease. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Zero security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte ME 358110, MSRP 20,590. Soul M777 6411, MSRP 21960. K5 MG 005197, MSRP 26170. Includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1, and the new FM 98.5.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
With Andy Schiffman, and talk all things NBA and the Grizzlies' big weekend ahead and all things around the NBA, as he is so very connected through his sports agency, sports representation agency. He is in Chicago, Priority Sports, and we love having Andy with us. We get to Andy after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and we love them as well. That's DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, and they love our veterans. They love our first responders, and they're going to be open all weekend, but still paying very solemn tribute to this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience you've come to know and love at DeSoto Auto Sales. Every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. You'll be treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. The ultimate car experience. You will get that there when you walk in that door, because they know we live in a world today that time really matters, and that's why they want you to test drive that car, get credit approved, paperwork completed, and out of there in about 45 minutes or less. They're not cutting any corners. That's just how they do it at DeSoto Auto Sales. It's that simple. 662-890-7184, online at DeSotoAutosales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience you've come to know and love at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Always a treat for us to chat with our agent, Andy Schiffman, in Chicago. But maybe he's coming to Memphis for this big game tomorrow. He's got a couple of guys on the roster that wear Grizzlies uniforms. Andy Schiffman, you looking forward to tomorrow, and might you come to your hometown?
Well, I wish I was. It's actually pretty chilly up here today, so I'd welcome that nice southern heat right about now. But we've actually started at our whole pre-draft training program, so we have our whole draft class here in Chicago. So I will be here working with them for the next several weeks leading up to the draft. So I'm looking forward to watching this Game 3 between Memphis and Utah tomorrow. And I know the last game the other night was a little bit of a disappointment, obviously, with Donovan Mitchell back. They're going to have their hands full. But to leave Salt Lake as an 8 seed against the number 1 seed and get out of there splitting those 2 games, that's a huge victory for the Grizzlies.
Oh, it is. What do you think 47 points against that team has done for the reputation of John Morant?
Well,
pretty good.
Look, I think it just continues to solidify what NBA fans already knew. And the next step is winning a series like this or taking a series like this all the way to a seventh game, even if you don't win. But to play consistently like that would be huge. It would put him in that same category, in my opinion, of what we saw last year in the bubble when you see Luka Doncic and Jamal Murray going off every single night. Ja is right there, putting himself in that upper echelon of just absolute all-star elite level players in the NBA, and he's only in his second year, which is even scarier. And he's a consistent three-point shot away from just being one of the top 5, 7 players in the NBA, talked about every single year.
But this is, Andy, this is the time of year, or playoffs, normally would have been started a long time before this, but playoffs are the time where you can shake past maybe sordid reputations, you can burnish new ones, you can,
sure,
for the team, for the franchise. This would be so big for the Grizzlies at this pace, way ahead of the process. If they could win this series and advance to it, looks like it would be Dallas. They're up 2-0. Still a lot of basketball to be played there. But this is when the reputations change, good or bad.
No, absolutely. Even if they, like I said, Brett, even if the Grizzlies can push Utah to 6 or 7 games and they can,
I agree,
let's say, win another one in Memphis and potentially even try and steal another one on the road, or even just win these next few at Memphis, even if they end up losing the series. You said it. I think in terms of planning, a lot of new front offices and new teams and coaches, they all talk about having this 3-year plan. And by year 3, you'd like to be a playoff contending team and contending for home court. And we're in year 2 here of the Taylor Jenkins experiment with Zach Kleiman in the front office there. And considering all the injuries they've had, right, to Jaren Jackson, Justice Winslow, all the ups and downs, even Ja being out for a time this year, to be in this position to potentially have an opportunity to go up 2-1 as an 8 seed against the number 1 seed, win, lose, or draw, I think it's a huge step in the right direction. There's a lot to be excited about, and you're only going to hopefully get better if you make some great moves in free agency with the draft, and potentially even with the trade market this summer. So there's a lot to be excited about, and like you said, I do think they're ahead of the curve right now in year 2.
Do you think they'll be aggressive in the trade market?
I don't, to be honest, and here's why I say that. I think Dylan Brooks, I think Kyle Anderson. Well, I know from conversations, I do think Kyle Anderson was a hot commodity around the trade deadline. I think he's proven his value with the Grizzlies. And if you're the Grizzlies now, I think the quote-unquote core that you talk about where you've had a lot of success has increased beyond just Jaren, Ja, our guy Brandon Clark's in that mix, I think. And then you now really solidly, I would put a Kyle Anderson and a Dylan Brooks in that group. And then outside of that, I just don't know how many teams are begging down the door for some of these peripheral pieces, perhaps a Grayson Allen or Anthony Melton. Now, all that being said, there's always creative ways to package players, to include draft picks and future draft picks called assets in this business, to go out and track very good players on the trade market. But I just don't see a team, given where the Grizzlies are right now, blowing up the majority of their roster and being that active on the trade market. I think the teams that you do see very active on the trade market over the summer and at the deadline are those teams that are almost retooling, kind of like Orlando Magic did and Chicago did at the trade deadline this year, similar to the Grizzlies when they traded away Pau Gasol years ago, almost to blow it up and kind of start over. And I think the Grizzlies are past that point, and I think now it's more about adding a veteran piece or two, continuing to make the right moves on draft night, and just to fill needs along with trying to add the best possible player available. But I think it's more about just filling needs, getting some more perimeter shooting. I think they're pretty good with their front court, to be honest, if they keep all those bigs they have now and just continuing to bolster up the bench. I do think they're really heading in the right direction. I don't think they really have to do a whole lot, even if other teams do this offseason.
Andy, didn't you just describe the Utah Jazz build?
No, absolutely. And Utah is absolutely universally known around the NBA, Brett, for developing their own talent. And look at a guy that really killed the Grizzlies the other night, Royce O'Neal, undrafted, given an opportunity a few years ago on a minimum level contract, and he's turned himself into a first guy off the bench rotational player, with the best team in the NBA. There's something to be said for that, and that comes with development, and it comes with patience, good coaching, good investment in your player development program. It's not all about just the head coach. You have people on that staff that do a great job of developing young talent. And absolutely, you look at Utah, you look at where Denver and Milwaukee were 3 or 4 years ago. Now, of course, you get lucky in the draft and you land a mega superstar like a Jokic or Antetokounmpo. That's a different story. But who's to say that wasn't the Grizzlies by adding Ja Morant? They could turn into that absolutely. So as a basketball fan and as a Memphian, and trying to remain as objective as I can, and also having clients on the Grizzlies, I'm very excited about where the franchise is going in the next couple of years.
Should be a lot of fun, and this should be a pretty good series to have home court advantage. Now, the Jazz did lose the first game without Mitchell, and Mitchell has been a Grizzlies killer.
It was the whole Louisville thing with Mitchell. That's why you said that.
That's exactly right. But
that was Freudian right there. It really was.
I do think this series is going to go at least 6. How do you foresee it going, Andy?
I think it could go at least 6 as well. But look, the Grizzlies, you saw it last game. Despite Ja going off for 47 points, Utah has been down a lot in big games this season and have battled back. And I think they're the league's best 3-point shooting team. And in Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench that has never seen a shot he doesn't like. Our guy, Joe Ingles, who's leading the NBA, I believe, or right near the top of the NBA in 3-point field goal percentage. Obviously, Mike Conley loves playing against his old squad. Donovan Mitchell, now you add in here Royce O'Neal, George Niang off the bench, who we represent. They are assassins from deep. And the Grizzlies gave up 19 threes last game. And they only hit, I believe, 7 or 8 or so. They can't let that happen.
It was 8 because it was a difference of 11.
It was 8, yep. And
I
think
Brooks hit that last second three.
Yep.
That's what made it 11.
So I think as the Grizzlies, you need to be able to do your best to contain Utah's perimeter shooting. I think you got to be able to, if you're the Grizzlies, make more than 8 threes. And I think you just somehow, and it's very hard to do, if you can somehow get Gobert in foul trouble early or neutralize him, because if he's out of the game or limited, it's a game changer for guys driving to the paint, for Ja driving to the paint, opening everything up because of how scary he is inside. He had 4 blocks last game. He's probably going to get Defensive Player of the Year, deservedly so again, and not even just blocking shots, but altering shots. It's an absolute game changer. It changes the whole dynamic of what the Grizzlies are trying to do. And so if you can somehow, he fouled out the first game, but I know it was really towards the end. If you can somehow pick up 3 fouls on him in the first half, or maybe up until the halfway point in the second quarter, I think you got to really take advantage of that, because I don't think you're really going to slow down Donovan Mitchell. It was very impressive to see what he did his first game back the other night when he had 25 points and hit 5 threes. You've got that's hard. That's a hard guy to contain. He's an all-star. And same thing with Bogdanovich. He only hit 1 3, but he can absolutely kill you. And so again, I wouldn't bank on trying to stop one of their offensive superstars. Just lean on Valanciunas, and without getting him too much in foul trouble, try to neutralize Rudy Gobert and just open up so much more in the paint. It's really going to play to the Grizzlies' favor.
Utah's such a hard team to guard. There's a reason why they're the 1 seed. They're such a tough guard because if you kind of go belly button to belly button, they really get that pick and roll from about the top of the key to around the cup. They get that working, and then if you lay off of them, they hit 19 threes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and they're so deadly in the pick and roll because they surround. You got a great role guy in Rudy Gobert, right?
Right.
You've got great decision makers, not only in Mike Conley, but Donovan Mitchell. And I'll tell you, Joe Ingles in the pick and roll is just as good as Chris Paul is in terms of the decision making aspect. He may not be quick.
I totally agree. He is.
You may as well label him a point guard for that team. And then you're talking about the way the NBA is. by the time you cross half court, you really only got about 18, 19 seconds left to get into your offense. Everything is pick and roll, middle third of the court oriented in today's NBA, and surround that with shooters. And Utah does that better than anyone in the NBA in terms of playing the pick and roll with a very effective big man and point guard, but great perimeter oriented players. And that's what, just like you said, that's what makes it so difficult, because if you're guarding a perimeter player, you can't leave him to go help on the pick and roll and just rely on your rotation, because they will absolutely make you pay. It's very difficult to guard, and that is why they're the best team in the NBA.
You were just talking a little earlier, and we were talking about the bench, and Grizzlies could make moves with guys at the end of the bench and things of that nature. There's a couple of great stories, I think, that are going on in the NBA around those kinds of guys. One last night was Austin Rivers. 4 to 6 weeks ago, Austin Rivers was out of a job. Last night in the fourth quarter for Denver, he had 16 of their 21. Of course, their top guard.
He won a game, Paul.
Is out. He won a game for Denver last night, and he was
that's worth signing
out of a job. And I don't know if this guy could be yours, because he's a Memphis guy, but Cam Payne from Lausanne is playing outstanding basketball for the Phoenix Suns. Here's another guy that was with out of job a couple of a month and a half ago.
No, it's been great to see, and you see a lot of that, especially in this season. And Austin Rivers, look, he's got the pedigree. He's a first-round pick from years back, 10th overall pick, so he's been there before. And despite him being an unrestricted free agent sitting at home a little bit, there's a reason these guys get calls from playoff teams in crunch time of the season to finish out the regular season going into the playoffs, because they can be relied upon no matter what or when the circumstances present themselves to just step up and produce. And veteran guys like Austin Rivers do that. He did that last night, obviously, on the road against Portland. And Cam Payne, I'll be the first to say, like, I saw Cam in a workout last spring in Memphis when I was home during the first part of the pandemic, and I could get closer shooting threes than he could at that workout that I watched. It really was not pretty. And to see what he's done now, maybe I just caught him on a bad day, I don't know. But it has been very, very fun to watch, almost like a resurrection of this player, of Cam. He was fighting for a training camp spot at the beginning of the season last year in Toronto. And now look what 2 seasons ago, rather, before he joined Phoenix. And now look what he's doing here with a very, very dangerous, good team. Now, obviously, look, Phoenix, as you can tell now, they go as Chris Paul goes. He's just not the same after he injured his shoulder in that game one, and you could see it last night.
Yeah.
And so, but Cam is, look, it's great. He is a Memphis kid, played at Lausanne. Obviously, he was picked, in my opinion, picked a little too high when he came out of the draft in 2015. He was 14th overall by the Thunder, really underachieved. But look, he's resilient. He's worked his butt off. To his credit, he's absolutely been producing now. I mean, shooting 44% from three on one of the best teams in the NBA, having a career year. So it just shows you can never give up. And despite in this business, there's so many low points, unless you're really a perennial all-star or an NBA starter every year, you have to just keep working, because it's just all about opportunity. And he found his opportunity in Phoenix, and it really resonated last year in the bubble, and they stuck with him. And to see what he's doing now, it's definitely been exciting to watch.
There are some teams this weekend that really a new definition for good or for ill will come out of it. The Clippers, they've got to improve, but the Grizzlies are on the good side. Knicks and Atlanta, I don't think any lasting reputations are going to be stuck on that series. We just see if Atlanta can match the Garden in the intensity.
Yep. No, that's fun to watch. That's going to be such an even series, I really do feel, and I think that Trae Young feeds off of the hatred that he gets from Knicks fans and that whole volatile atmosphere, and I don't necessarily know if you're going to see that in Atlanta on that same level, but they do have fans there, and so that's going to be an exciting one to watch tonight. And the Clippers have really surprised me. I mean, Luka steps up when it's magic time, let's say, in the playoffs, and I'm not surprised with that at all. But I just think the Clippers lack an identity, and I think they lack a leader. And I don't think you can rely on Kawhi and Paul George as your vocal leader. Let's rally the troops. Let's go. I don't think you can rely on Pat Beverly to do that. They've got all-star level talent. Obviously, both Kawhi and Paul George had monster games the other night against Dallas, but now you're talking about going to Dallas when the Mavs players are going to be amped up, and you've got consistent great games now and some consistent play from Luka Doncic, from our guy Tim Hardaway Jr., from Kristaps Porzingis. They're a very scary team when all those guys are knocking down shots, and it's encouraging if you're Rick Carlisle in Dallas to know that defensively you can contain these other guys. Again, we always say it, right? Make other guys beat you. PG and Kawhi went off, but Dallas still won on the road. So they've got to feel really good about themselves. I think the Clippers are in trouble.
I do too. I think there's a chemistry issue there, and you said it. I mean, both George and Leonard played great the other night, and they still lost. When it was crunch time, the better team took over. You guys also mentioned Atlanta and the Knicks. I thought this was really interesting today. If the Knicks were to move on to round 2, they are saying, and you know that crowd was just incredible the other night. They are saying only fully vaccinated fans will be able to be in attendance for the next series if the Knicks defeat Atlanta.
Good.
I love this. I know there's going to be a bunch of people that think that is a threat on their freedom. I think
exactly
keeping you healthy would be a good thing for you. And so I love it. I don't know if any other organizations will make that bold a move. But, wow, that's the first time I've seen anything like that from any pro sports entity.
No, I think that's great. And, look, there are already fans, I guarantee you, with tickets for that game, and maybe those fans are not vaccinated. This will motivate them to go get vaccinated, if not already vaccinated. So I think that's a great move. I know other arenas have vaccinated sections for fans. I know other arenas will have sections where if you tested and you test negative, then you go sit in certain sections, because not every arena, unlike it was prior in the season, mandates COVID testing now just to get into the game. But I think it's great, and I think of all the teams and all the arenas to do it, that the Knicks and MSG are the ones leading that charge. Hopefully that will resonate around the rest of the league and the playoff teams, and obviously, hopefully, even into next year, although we're a ways away from that. So I'm with you, Dave. I think it's a great move.
And, Andy, look, and Dave was of the same age grouping. I don't know what it's like now. I don't know if it was what it was like for Dave's children. But I had to have proof of certain shots to start first grade in 1969. If you travel to certain countries, you have to have certain shots before you ever go to the international departure gate at JFK. Look, people, places can do that. Places can require it. I applaud them.
No, absolutely. And obviously, I'm sure when you guys are growing up, and when I was growing up compared to now, it is a little bit of a different world, because we don't have this whole notion of, oh, well, you're infringing on my rights and being able to do this and do that. We didn't really look that far into it. We're like, hey, if this is what we have to do, this is what we have to do. Let's go do it, because we want to be able to live our lives, and it's required. There's not so much back and forth and tiptoeing rights and liberties and all that. I'm not getting into all that on obviously this conversation. I just think, look, it's been proven this vaccine helps. We all want sports to go back to normal, and let's just fall in line and do what we have to do to protect ourselves and others. And if that, in terms of the sports world, if that will open up a lot of things, and I think a lot of people are, and you see it. Look, there's a lot of fans there, and I was watching the games last night, panning around the arenas in the stadium. So many fans are still wearing masks in the arenas. Obviously, some aren't.
And that's fine.
But maybe I'm naive. I'd like to think of many of those people, most of those people have gotten the vaccine. I'm more so taking people in my life as a microcosm of maybe a grouping of larger people, and I'd like to think that the majority of people have gotten it. So I hope I'm not wrong, and hope it continues.
I would like this. If you go to an all-vaccinated game, you don't have to wear a mask. That would be a reward for that, for sure. I'm sure the 135,000 that are going to the Indy 500 this weekend are not all going to be vaccinated.
I would imagine most of those people in Indiana probably are not. I've been to an Indy 500, and I know that crowd. It's a fun experience, but I don't believe you could pay me enough to go in today's world, at least this weekend, to that. Like everyone's got this vaccine card. It's interesting. I've never been asked to show it, and I've never really seen anywhere to ask to show it. It seems like we're all just kind of rolling on the honor system here. I think at one point you have to be able to prove it. I don't know. I was at the White Sox game last week. Believe it or not, Dave. Sorry, Cubs tickets are too expensive. but they were playing White Sox Cardinals, and they never really once asked for anything, and there were people all around me. I felt safe. Whenever I got up, I threw my mask on, walked in the concourse, put my mask on. The concession workers, the ushers, they all had masks on.
Well, you know what? At Wrigley Field, they have I can't remember which bleachers, but there is a vaccinated section.
There's a vax area.
So they must ask you to show your vaccination card to get in there. I would assume.
I've got it on my phone. I've got it in my wallet.
Me too. Last thing before we let you go, Andy, I got to commend you because I like the Bucks. I like Giannis. I like the whole setup. I like the way Buds plays. But I was of the opinion that they just were not set up for the playoffs. I was never more wrong. But you said they were. Drew Holiday made the difference. And here you are. That series is over.
That was, especially game 2, amazing what they did from the very start of the game to the very finish. And obviously they won, again, pretty big Thursday. And I don't know if that's more of an indictment on the Heat as opposed to applauding the Bucks. I'm sure it's a little bit of both. But look, I believed in them, but they've still impressed me. I mean, this is above and beyond what I thought they'd be doing to the Heat. I thought the Heat series was going to go at least 5 games, maybe 6, and they've got a chance to sweep this weekend. Actually, tomorrow when they play them in Miami. It is amazing. Now, what I would really like to see, obviously, and we'd all would like to see, is Milwaukee matching up against Brooklyn or Philadelphia. I think to see a potential matchup between Giannis and KD for 7 games would be phenomenal. And even James Harden and Kyrie against Drew Holiday, because Drew Holiday is one of the elite-level defenders in the NBA. And then you've got 2 elite-level offensive players, one which really doesn't care about defense so much than James Harden. So that whole matchup would be really, really fun to watch. Same thing with Philadelphia. So they've really impressed me. And Dante DiVincenzo's now, he's out, he's hurt. Is he's a helpful player on that team for sure.
They're averaging 10 points and like 6 rebounds. I mean, he's been really good. That hurts them.
That definitely hurts them. But look, you've got to be able to get production. We've got Bobby Portis on the team. He's capable of putting up numbers and knocking down threes. You've got to see some productivity from Pat Connaughton, who's capable of knocking down threes. And Bryn Forbes has just kind of come out of nowhere every single year, and just all of a sudden you're watching these games where he just drops 4, 5, or 6 threes. I think you need some consistency from him, along with these main players of Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday and Giannis. And I think everyone sleeps on Brook Lopez, but for as slow as he is and as unathletic as he is one of the biggest guys in the NBA. He's long, and he knows how to play, and he knows how to utilize his position and his body inside. He can knock down free throws. So you can't forget the big guy in the middle, and Brook, and he does. I think he really works with that team, with the way they play, with Giannis and with Drew. It'll just be interesting to see as they probably advance to round 2 and face some better competition.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch for sure. And we'll talk about it next week. Andy, have a very, very happy Memorial Day weekend.
You too, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. That's our agent in Chicago, Andy Schiffman, brought to you in part by Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. You know those Hyundais? They are the safest car in the world. They're tied with another company, but they've done that for the last couple of years. That's how good that product is. It performs. I've had the Elantra. I've had the Sonata. I've had the Santa Fe. That car performs, and yet it is so safe and durable. Every new Hyundai, just like the Genesis cars, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. And at Homer Skelton Hyundai, this is Chris True, he's all about service. He's had the same crew together for about 13 or 14 years. They work well together. They know the product, and they want to take care of you. That's why they will give you a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package with every brand new Hyundai or every new Genesis on the lot. It's all about taking care of you with this great product. You can't beat it. All you got to do is get on Lamar to find out. First exit Mississippi, turn left Craft Road. You're there. You'll love it. You'll thank me later when you go to Homer Skelton Hyundai or Genesis of Olive Branch. When we come back, baseball with our guy, Tim Doolin. We'll talk college baseball, the retirement/resignation of the LSU baseball coach, Paul Minari. Where does that put Mike Bianco? Ooh, we've got lots of questions for Tim Doolin when we come back.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
I'm Kelly Erb. Sheldon Rosengarten and I are both with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and our clients often ask us how we are finding the real estate market right now.
Kelly, we've been in a great market environment for quite a while. If someone hadn't sold their home by now with a low inventory and high activity level, there have to be issues that need to be addressed.
Correct. Usually before we go on the market, we advise people on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing. With that and our highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option, our clients' odds of selling their home are increased quicker and at a better price.
Yes, that is why we also suggest that people talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure and call us. It can mean the difference in whether they sit on the market or sell. That's why people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's right. You can reach Sheldon Rosengarten or me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
It's happening again at Family Leisure. Don't miss out again this summer because pools are going fast. Spas in stock now, too, and they're ready for delivery. New 2021 patio furniture, state-of-the-art in stock now, and up to 20% off select sets. Swing into spring with a brand new play gym, professional installation available. The temperature's rising, and so is the service at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where family and fun come together.
Start your engines Mid-South and get ready to ride in your new Mitsubishi from Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike. Who doesn't want 41 mpg highway today? We Gossett with 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $14,647 or $179 a month. And take your pick with dynamic redesign in your 2022 Outlander or 2022 all-new Eclipse Cross, now $309 a month. All powered by a stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Plus, test drive today and you'll receive a free gift card on us. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 stock number MHF 06296, MSRP 17735, Outlander NZ00 8245, MSRP 27260, Cross NZ00 4494, MSRP 27725, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes stock not on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2021, dealer stock only.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that.
We call that a 3-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Cruising through to Memorial Day weekend. We're going to talk some baseball here in a minute with our friend Tim Doolin. And, Tim actually, I think he kind of owes me an apology. Putting the Cubs down the way he did right before they played the Cardinals. He said he would change his tune a little bit after, if the Cubs prove their worth. See where he stands on all of that in just a bit. Mr. Norsworthy, I was out with a friend at a restaurant, and we were talking food, delis. We were talking corned beef. And the guy said to me out of nowhere, he goes, let me just tell you, Wallo, the best place, you're not going to believe this, but the best place to get corned beef in Memphis, it's Jason's Deli. I said,
you have said that.
I said,
you have said
brother,
that for a while.
I know that.
You have known that, and I've told you I'm not a corned beef sandwich eater, but a lot of people have told me that about Jason's Deli. Maybe I need to get them to do the advertisement for Jason's Deli on the corned beef sandwich. But I know all the other sandwiches are great, so no surprise at the corned beef as well. And here's what's back. Catering anytime, anywhere. We're starting to get our Monday 4-person scrambles back, good cause scrambles back. If you need someone to cater for you, don't forget about Jason's Deli. All the locations as well, like on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Online at jasonsdeli.com. Dave mentioned the sandwiches, the salads, the soups, the meats, the breads, the cheeses, the spreads, all so good. Dine in, to go, or delivery. They like to say wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, and that's what the 200 Memphis area associates strive to do for you, the very valued customer. The salad bar, it's back. Over 30 items just on it. You can prepare it however you'd like. They'll still prepare it for you. Plenty of organic food to choose from. It's all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own selection, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. And if you're in any of these locations, like on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, wrap it up with a complimentary ice cream every time you go in. And always check them out online at jasonsdeli.com.
I am not sure. I'm watching SportsCenter Live and seeing my friend Doris Burke, and she is talking about the Celtics and the Nets tonight. And I don't know if ESPN is doing their games on site. I don't think Doris was there for that Spurs game when I went. And I know that
I think they were there.
I
think they were in a suite instead of at a normal broadcast position.
I could not find them, and I'm not. That could very well be. But I've noticed this: Turner is doing it from Atlanta, which I thought was incredible. That's why you are seeing the same announcers, basically Marv Albert and
Grant Hill.
And that combo. And the other combo is Kevin Harlan. They're doing every other night. So I believe Marv's doing all the East, and Kevin Harlan's doing all the West, and I noticed that Joel Myers is doing all the NBA TV because I think those guys are all doing it remotely.
Yeah, they are.
And I can't tell you how hard that is, and I will tell you they are all three of those play-by-play guys are doing a marvelous job.
They are, and you just wonder if now they're not going as much for safety or for budget.
Well, that's a valid point. I do think I have seen Breen with Van Gundy and Jackson. I think they've been on site. Like I say, I looked for Doris, but I could not see her when I was there for the Spurs. But you know, if you got to be vaccinated to go to the Knicks second round games, you know, there's no excuse for guys not being there. And I know Marv Albert I think has struggled a little bit with it. But I'll tell you what, Joel Meyer I couldn't tell, and Kevin Harlan's been outstanding in these games. He really has.
He always is.
So I think we have a little problem. We are having trouble getting a hold of our friend Tim Doolin, so we may miss him on this Holiday Friday. But I want to go back to the speculation that you brought out. Now, Tim does have his finger on the pulse on this, but what is your sense? And I don't want to put you in an awkward position. If so, just let us know. But what is your sense about Mike Bianco and possibly taking the LSU job now that we know that Paul Minari is gone?
I think he'll be locked up to the longest deal they can make at Ole Miss, which is 4 years, because the state it's always a hindrance for coaches, football or basketball. But I think he'll be locked up very soon at Ole Miss, and the administration and him not as concerned as some of the hotter talk shows and hotter message boards and hotter Twitter feeds.
So. And
let's see what Tim thinks.
At the last second, we do get Tim Doolin. We appreciate him giving up some of his time on the Holiday Friday. Tim, thank you much. So the question is, will Mike Bianco use the leverage of the LSU job to get a big raise at Ole Miss, or will he go?
Well, first of all, I don't think he's gonna be leveraging to get a big raise, and he's already got a huge extension. It'll be interesting. There's going to be a lot of coaching carousel moves. I mean, you're going to see. I think Tony Vitello from Tennessee is going to definitely either leverage Tennessee or he's already a candidate for the LSU job. He's a candidate for the Texas A&M job. The Rice job is opened up. There's going to be a lot of activity over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure there's activity behind the scenes now, but some of these guys that are candidates for these job openings are going to be in regionals and potentially super regionals. So, it'll be interesting to see.
What is the going rate? If LSU's the Alabama of baseball, what
they just paid to a women's basketball coach?
What will their head baseball coach make?
I think he's going to be in the neighborhood of all in with camps and everything included. Somewhere in the $1.2 million to $1.5 million range is what you're going to see, I think. And again, Cliff Godwin's another guy that's going to be in the mix from East Carolina. He was Mike's former recruiting coordinator and his outstanding job at Ole Miss while he was there, and also has done an outstanding job at East Carolina and turned that program around relatively fast. So I think it's going to be interesting. I do think I think Mike has probably an interest in LSU, and if he goes, I think Cliff Godwin definitely goes to Ole Miss because I know a lot of the boosters and people there had a great amount of respect for what he did while he was at Ole Miss as a recruiting coordinator. And Vitello, look what Vitello's done at Tennessee in a short period of time, put them back on the map and made them relevant again.
So will the Ole Miss job pay $1 million?
It does now, and there's no question it will.
Wow. Okay.
And like I said, with I think Schlossnagel from TCU is going to be in the mix at A&M, and if he leaves, then that job's open. I think
the Florida coach is shopping.
And I don't think Sully is going to leave Florida. He just got a new stadium. They played really good as of late, but basically when the Texas A&M coach gets fired, Texas Tech's coach leverages up and gets a lifetime contract. And not only is it a lifetime contract, he's guaranteed to be paid, in the top 5 or 6 in the country as far as salaries go. So he should thank the former coach at Texas A&M for getting him that deal for sure.
Tim, what if our old buddy Ross Bjork blew the marketplace up and stepped in with early 21st century football type money for somebody at $2 million per?
Well, I don't know that it's going to get to that number, but I can assure you, and we all know Texas A&M's got lots of money, and they wouldn't have fired their coach if they were, wanting to go hire a recruiting coordinator, and that's not happening. They've already made a point. They're going after an established coach. The tough part about Tennessee is that even though Tony has done a great job in putting them relevant again, you're not going to, regardless of how much you expand the facilities at their baseball stadium, you don't want to be in Knoxville in mid-February and early March. It's too cold. They don't have the fan base that are going to go to baseball games and fill stadiums up. They just don't. And I'm not saying they don't have a good fan base. They don't have Ole Miss fan base, Mississippi State fan base, or A&M fan base.
Or Arkansas fan base.
Or Arkansas fan base. So it'll be interesting to see, but it's an exciting time of year with all of the regionals getting ready to start and all the things that's going to be. Every regional is going to be discussing what we're talking about today. That's for sure.
All right, Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss, Arkansas. You've been brilliant when you've predicted these kinds of games, all collegiate baseball long. My question for you is, well, who will win those two games and then who will eventually be the SEC champion? But do they really care? Because all 4 of those are going to be hosting now, right?
No, and I think they care. They definitely care the farther it gets, and we're now in the semifinals, so yes, they care. Are they going to compromise their rotation for next week's regional to win the SEC championship? No, they're not. And that's what Mississippi State didn't throw any of their premium arms, and they went 0-2 in the SEC tournament. So they're I don't think they're concerned. I mean, obviously they got to get their bats going, but although Leiter went pretty deep today for Vandy, and I guess that was just because his pitch counts was down and he felt good. But I think all these teams are positioning themselves for next weekend more so than they are trying to win this championship.
So who does win it?
I don't know. I wouldn't. Arkansas is all. They've been there all the time, and I like
year.
them. And that's just kind of who I think is going to come out of it. And Florida probably. I think those two.
I do too, Tim. And it just feels like it's Dave Van Horn's year for all of it, to win his first SEC tournament, to win his first College World Series when they get to Omaha. Hoover in May, Omaha in June.
There you go. He's got a really good club, top to bottom. They play defense. They pitch it. They've got some really good hitters and really good athletes. So,
you've been brilliant on your college baseball picks, but I think you owe me a bit of an apology, Tim Doolin. I mean, your disgusting approach
tied for first has made him like this all
to
week.
The Chicago Cubs and their reputation when they took 2 out of 3 in St. Louis.
That was last weekend.
Yeah, but I didn't have a chance to talk to you since then.
Yeah, you did. I saw you. I saw you at the one.
You got his cell number, don't you?
He did see me at Miramichi, but he was. What were you doing? Were you fixing the golf course for Fred Edmiston?
No, we were just we were just riding around and kind of sneaking in and playing a few holes that were. And there's, as you saw, it was so crowded. There were very few holes that were vacant that day. But I just enjoy getting out and riding around. It's you talk about it all the time, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful layout.
And I'm going to talk about it right now.
Kind of stress relief. Anyway.
I am. I'm going to talk about it right now, but I am going to leave you with the Cubs are tied with the Cardinals in first place right now. A little more respect in the future would be really helpful.
Javi Lopez is, Baez is getting started. He's getting started. Look what he did
stole
the other day.
home. That was incredible.
He stole it, literally. He ain't going to give it back.
Well, that Pirate first baseman, that might have been the biggest dunce play I've seen in years.
Turn around, step on the bag.
I know.
Thank you, Tim.
That's right.
Thank you,
all
my
right,
friend.
guys.
We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
That's it.
Bye-bye.
That is Tim Doolin. He is brought to you by Miramichi. He loves Miramichi. He's got a great relationship with Fred. Everybody who knows Fred does. And he is so committed to this golf course every year. They add something this year. Totally new state-of-the-art irrigation system. With the warm weather we're getting now, wait till you see how plush these fairways are going to be. You know you've got 7,400 yards on 330 acres of natural beauty. You can move up. I usually play about the 6,400 tee boxes, the golds. It's terrific. It is great. And they've got everything. Great prices, by the way, on the weekends under $50, and you get cart and range balls for free. Matt Davies is on hand. He's their pro that will give you golf lessons, great strategy, short game, putting power, everything you need to play the game. And then, of course, the course provides everything you need. And then after, go on up to the patio, totally redone. There's tonight, I think, going to be music. It's got a full bar. It's got great food. It's got the best view in town right there. Atop of 819, a view of that golf course. It's gorgeous. Please, go check it out. You'll love it. Miramichi. It is the place to be this holiday weekend. We'll pause for just a second, and when we come back, we'll end the show, as we always do, with a little Taco Bell crunch time.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hi, this is Troy 5 owner of 5 Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5 Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with these hot items for dads and grads. Featuring the tailor-made Sim2 drivers with forged ring construction that enhances distance and forgiveness. And don't miss these hot gifts from Bushnell, like the Tour V5 or the Tour V5 Shift with pin seeker technology, or the Wingman with Bluetooth and audible GPS for distance. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
You looking for a ride equipped with family fun for everyone? We got it at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike during the Jeep Freedom Days and Memorial Day sales event. 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $23,990 or $299 a month. 2021 Dodge Charger XST, $31,110 or $399 a month. 2021 Jeep Wrangler Sport, $335 a month. And 2021 Fiat 500X Pop All-Wheel Drive, $24,490 or $329 a month. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1900 Covington Pike, or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, 75 months at 4.15% APR, 500X, MP 8982, MSRP 27885, Renegade MPM 44788, MSRP 26240, Charger SXT, MH 561998, MSRP 33110, Wrangler MW 725203, MSRP 33610, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax out on license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/21 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion of our show brought to you by Grind City Brewing and the wonderful thing that they have called Tiger Tail, the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. It's a craft malt liquor. I know you're thinking malt liquor. Don't think that way. Think craft, because it is crafted with a bold and a smooth flavor. It's got 7.5% alcohol, and it's got this finish that is just delicious and makes it so easy drinking. I promise you, you will love it. It comes in 16-ounce six-packs. It is, well, it's become so popular. It used to be you could only get it at the Grind City Brewery uptown. Then it started to move to places like Eddie Connor's Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick, and that was a big plus. But now it's become so popular. Remember, Tiger Tail. It's become so popular, you can now get it in Kroger. You're going to love it, I promise. Tell them we sent you. Get to Kroger or wherever you want to and get Tiger Tail. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing, taking care of beerness in Memphis. Happy holidays with that, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is crunch time.
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello,
Choo-choo. What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food. You get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. With a great program year after year, I've learned that this is the year for the Razorbacks. They've never won an SEC tournament. I think they get it this weekend. They've never won a College World Series. I think they get that come June. They don't want to become Gonzaga in basketball or Georgia the last 40 years in college football, that you're always the bridesmaid, that you got to win it to get rid of that label.
Well, there is something to being a bridesmaid, too, if you never even get to the dance half the time. But I hear your point, and this is a team that certainly could win it all. You know what I learned today? I learned today that the first place Cubs, they need to really thank Craig Kimbrell. Today marked his 37th consecutive appearance. The Cubs closer has come out and not given up an earned run. 37 straight appearances without an earned run. That, my friend,
tied for first
is
place.
how you get into first place.
If the Orioles ever get into third place, can I be as obnoxious as Davis?
Well,
of course you can.
Appreciate it. They just have to get into third.
But Dave and I will be dead and gone when that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, who are you going to proclaim it to?
Can Mac Jones, by the way, inspiring folks at the New England OTA. So
Belichick's going to coach him hard.
I know you love him, and he's having a good thing. And we should congratulate Christian Brothers High School. They won their 11th state soccer title yesterday by beating Nashville Ryan 2-1. Nashville Father Ryan.
They have a dynasty. Could have done without the Oklahoma AD complaining about an early kickoff for the much-awaited OU-Nebraska renewal of that great rivalry. You and your chancellor, the AD and that chancellor, you take the network money, then you take the kickoff times they assign to you. It's pretty simple. You sign that big deal with Fox, you play when Fox tells you to play.
I guess I could have done without the Chris Paul story. I don't think it helps your league when you are basically saying there is a crooked referee. And that's what he's saying. He's 0 for his last 11 when it comes to playoff games with Scott Foster. I think he should get fined for that.
But, Dave, I remember one time you had a give and take with John Calipari, and you said, John, I think you're being paranoid. And he said, I have a lot of reasons to be paranoid. What if Chris Paul's telling the truth?
Well, he may be, because he's not the first person to say that stuff about Scott Foster. That is troubling. We got to thank Bruce Marshall, Drew Hill, Pat Smith, Andy Schiffman, and Tim Doolin. And we are looking forward to Monday because we will be here, ladies and gentlemen. And already we have got a great show lined up for you that includes Ted Butler, David Cobb, Anthony Sane, David Brandt from Phoenix, and a whole lot more. So we wish you, Brett, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend, and you and I will meet again on Monday.
We will, Dave. Thank you.
All right. Have a great time, everybody. Be safe.
As physicians, we know that what we do now